Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed to take sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Look at that.
Sorry, Tom.
Guys, honestly,
Well, as
this,
long
by the
as
way,
we're on a live
this
and
is,
open
so
mic,
sorry.
this
Tom.
is what happens when you start getting a little bit too much fame. Tom is walking around, girls are writing notes on his cars. You're going to events, and you have previous wives of presidents coming up to you, talking to you.
It's true.
And then Vinny comes into the meeting, putting his feet up as if he's like this big shot, just because he got 200 million views last month
It's
on
incredible.
YouTube. What do you want me to do, Vinny? You call your assistant? Like, hey, can we get Vinny here putting his feet down? Do we need to call your lawyers? No. Hey, lawyer, call this guy. Tell him, put your foot down, Vinny. Sit up straight like the rest of us. This guy puts
Vinny,
his feet up
join the
like...
show, buddy.
But look,
Vinny, put your headset on.
for what it's worth, as long as you wear those shoes, you can always put your feet up.
It's fine.
Hey, look, just really fast, really quick.
big time
I'm not
Vinny.
even trying to be funny because normally I wear dress shoes. They slipped on. They're freaking amazing, Pat. Thank you. They're sick.
I'm at 46 out of the last 47 days. By the way,
absolutely-
I've worn these shoes, the FLBs, more than I have my brown Xenias that I've had last 7 years. Just to count, last 8 years, just so you know that. Anyways, guys, a lot of crazy things going on. For some of you guys, I want to know what the hell is going on with the Epstein. I know a guy named Alan's going to be pretty excited about this. Guess what? The president did a complete 180, released the whole thing, and people lost their minds, okay? Even to the point that the Iranian military Twitter account decides to do a tweet on it and said, we hang pedophiles in Iran. And I had to respond back and give him some facts on it, which we'll address here in a minute, which was very, very weird. Yeah, the Iranian military monitor responds back going after the president. And even Twitter had to do a fact check on it, which is funny as hell. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on, folks. A lot. We got, obviously, the Epstein story we got to get into. We got to get into the story with Thomas Massie, MTG, Rubio, 21 boats shooting down of, what do you call it, Venezuela. And then you have Thomas Crooks and Tyler Robinson. Apparently both of them had furry fetish. So
Furry
now
fetishes.
the Thomas Crooks thing comes out with a furry fetish. So
What is going on?
Is
with
anybody
this furry?
shocked? Is anybody shocked?
Well, listen, I
No,
don't.
the CIA figured out furries would be manipulable, and they got two guys to do some work.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Tom
actually a
went
great
there.
point, Pat. 'Cause
Tom
If
went
you
there.
believe that you could be an animal, then you're gonna fall for anything. The brainwashing, the MK Ultra. It's,
Hi, let me keep
Dude,
going,
shoot
guys.
the president. You'll
No.
be in like a beast mode.
Tom, that's a joke.
joke,
Tom is
ladies and
joking.
gentlemen.
It's a bad joke.
Just like in Zoolander, when
Everyone,
they had
by
to
the way,
take out the,
if you guys
Prime
think
Minister of
Tom has
Malaysia.
bad jokes here when the cameras are off, it's times 10.
Oh, man.
Times 10. Anyways, Trump ramps up attack on Massie. His wife will soon find out she's stuck with a loser. Who says stuff like that?
he's so messed up.
It's like, he said that.
As the president of the United States.
Trump
You're a
opens
loser.
up.
Everybody knows it,
Trump
Massie.
opens up more Arctic drilling. Trump turns around and sues BBC, even though they issued an apology. $5 billion lawsuit. Despite the apology, Trump escalates pressure on Venezuela, but endgame is unclear. Pritzker claims Trump might take us to war with Venezuela to distract from Epstein controversy. That's what Pritzker is saying. Trump Epstein live. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she fears for her safety from radicalized MAGA fans after president dubbed her traitor. Trump gives ex-ally Greene new nickname dropped endorsement, says she betrayed the entire Republican Party. What's the new? Is there a real nickname? Okay, we'll see what it is. Greene says Trump administration infuriating people by gaslighting them on affordability. Trump scraps tariffs on beef, coffee, and tropical fruit in a push to lower grocery store prices. Fed study vindicates Trump trade policy. 150 years of evidence shows tariffs lower inflation. California Governor Gavin Newsom, former chief of staff, indicted on public corruption charges. Michelle Obama came out of nowhere, and she said, you know you ain't ready for a female president because of what you did with Kamala. And some of you guys want me to run. I'm not running because you're not ready for it.
And did you hear her complaining again about
White people?
Really?
and her
So
hair?
that's a
Yeah.
pre-excuse because
Yeah.
she'd lose.
Oh my God.
Survey shows 15% of Democrats believe America's birth rate is too low. Only 15%. That means arrested and believe it's fine.
Explain their position on abortion.
Yeah. Trump admin will pay full SNAP benefits within 24 hours after shutdown ends. Epstein email cache. Holy moly, folks. You ready for this? 2,300 messages, many of which mention Trump. Wall Street Journal. House plans to vote Tuesday on releasing the Epstein files, and Megyn Kelly appears to question whether Epstein was a pedophile or not. Steve Bannon is all over the newly released Jeffrey Epstein emails, raising questions about the 15-hour of Epstein interviews he has promised to release. And by the way, there was a moment where Vinny's telling me about this, that Epstein was coaching a representative from, is it Virgin Islands?
Virgin Islands.
On what to say while she's sitting there in front of the judge. Pretty wild to be thinking about that taking place. Tucker Carlson claims FBI hid details on Trump shooter Thomas Crooks. FBI clearly knew. Kash Patel dismisses Tucker's claims about would-be Trump assassin Thomas Crooks. Ted Cruz accuses GOP senators of being frightened to call out Tucker Carlson. Hochul now is open to raising taxes on New York corporations to fund socialist Mamdani's freebies. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. So she finally caved. All right. Mamdani calls for Starbucks boycott amid strike. Toyota opens a massive North Carolina battery plant, confirms $10 billion U.S. investment.
Boom.
And then Ford CEO Jim Farley, no relation to Chris Farley, says he can't fill 5,000 mechanic jobs paying $120 a year. Mm-hmm. We are in trouble in our country. And I don't know if he's talking about let's open up the H-1B visas, but he is saying something on what he wants to do. Before you guys go crazy, this is Ford CEO saying this.
Saying,
all
hey,
right?
It's true.
It's a blue-collar job, but we got openings.
That's
at
right.
He was also
benefits.
very upset that people were living in a van down by the river.
Yeah,
So
for
what's
sure.
going on?
Because it was a Chevy Astrovan.
Yeah. The number of households. Tom is like so hungry to do a podcast because we haven't done one since Wednesday.
He's itching.
I can't even get through the stories. He just wants to get into it. The number of households living paycheck to paycheck has risen. Why, Tom? He will give us an answer momentarily. Late car payments hit record among subprime borrowers. Stephen A. Smith breaks silence over criticism that his political views are interfering with $20 million a year ESPN role. And then we got a couple things that's going on. Disney finally begged YouTube, and they're trying to reach a deal to restore ESPN and ABC on streamer. Disney was losing $4 million a day on YouTube TV dispute. Looks like they got some things that's coming
Tom
through. Tell me.
I'm going to defend Tom. I know you didn't see this coming. But we miss you guys, man. We haven't seen you guys in 5 days.
I'm not done with the
you were in
stories,
California.
Adam.
I'm so sorry, sir.
This guy. So hidden cost of homeownership reaching $16,000 here. And we got a couple other things here. U.S. Border Patrol arrests 81 on the first day of Charlotte migration crackdown. Yes, Adam. We were out of town.
As I was saying, I missed you.
We were in,
Tell
where were
us.
we? We were in Newport Beach at Pelican Hill at an event called CXL. It was an incredible time. But, folks, I want to make a big announcement, Adam.
Yes,
with
sir.
your permission and Vinny's
sir.
lawyer's
Yes.
permission. I'd like to make an announcement. Folks, we're doing something crazy. And let me tell you what this crazy thing is. You know what this is? This is what you call a mystery box, okay? 200 of you are going to get this mystery box. And I'm going to tell you who this mystery box is going to go to, what items in it that are very, very unique. If you're watching this right now and you want to have a Merry Christmas and get some people some special gifts and have the possibility of coming on here to be on the podcast, sit here with us, do a prep and all the other crazy stuff. Rob, just play this clip, Rob. I'm getting ahead of myself. Go ahead, Rob. Watch this clip, folks. To announce the greatest Black Friday initiative ever. This right here is a mystery box. It's a mystery, but there's something very special inside of it. So how do you get the mystery box? The first 200 people that place a $500 order on VTmerch.com, the first 200 get this box. 10 of them have something very special in them. But when you open it up and you see this, 10 of them are going to be golden tickets. You're going to take your quarter and you're going to scratch this thing off. 10 of you are going to get different prices. Let me tell you what it's going to be. One of them is going to be $5,000 gift card to the VT merch. Come buy whatever you want to buy, the shoes, the jackets, whatever you want to buy. The other one is 5 platinum tickets to the Vault 2026. That's right. Platinum. Another one is the 20-carat hat that we did. That's numbered 1 out of 15. One of you is going to get that $5,000 Future Looks Bright hat. Another one is a 1-year silver membership to the Cigar Lounge. Another one is a 15-minute call with me or with Vinny or with Tom or with Adam. Then a $2,500 credit to Minnect. And last but not least, you will be in one of Vinny's skits on Vitamin Comedy.
It's a big deal. It's a real big deal.
You're in it with them as an actor or an actress. You place an order over $1,000, you're probably going to get a surprise FaceTime from me, Vinny, Adam, Tom, maybe all of us together. Not everybody, but probably 40, 50 of you will get a call. Last but not least, this one is going to break the internet. You ready? For anybody that places an order of over $2,000. I know the number's crazy, but you see why it's crazy. One of you who wins, we will fly you out, put you at a hotel, take you to Casa D'Angelo, do a podcast prep with you. Then the next day, you're sitting right here next to me on the podcast.
That's crazy.
The entire podcast. You're here with us.
That's great.
And we want you sitting right here. So if you haven't yet placed an order on VTmerch.com, go place the order. To learn more about the rules and the terms and conditions, click on a link below to learn all and start purchasing now. You know what the good news is? 30% discount on pretty much every product. So go to VTmerch.com, place your order, be one of the first 200, or if you're crazy enough, place the order over $2,000. We'll see you on the podcast.
This is crazy, Rob.
We've never done anything
Hopefully
like
that guy that gets to sit here is not a furry. Let's just hope. Let's just
But Rob,
hope.
can you do me a favor? Can you go on the website real quick? Can you go on the website? Go to VTmerch.com, and I want to just kind of show this to you guys as you're going through it. So if you go click on Vitamin just to refresh the website, Rob. Okay, perfect. If you click on that, learn more right there, and you go to it, all the details are down. Go a little bit lower. It'll break down everything for you. And keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All the details are right there, Rob. Go up a little bit higher, Rob, and click on that View All to the right. So that's what you want to do. Go on View All, and here's where it is. The shoes, the one thing we did with Bundle, the Vault Conference, the SLS, the public speaking course, the PBD sales system, the business planning workshop, all the recording bundle, $997, right? Of course, these are from previous. We never do that. But you got a bundle there for $997, and then you got the shoes. That's the only thing that won't be discounted aside from a couple items. And you can go down and place your order. Christmas gift for your husband, for yourself, for your kids, for your spouse, for anybody else that watches this. Future looks bright. Yesterday, I went to the sushi spot. I'm ordering sushi. It says, I ordered the 3 Yeti Future Looks Bright items that were on, which was great seeing the guy at the Kaizen. But anyways, again, if you want to participate, 200 mystery boxes, first 200, go to VTmerch.com, place your order. This is part of the Black Friday. We're just doing it way earlier than everybody else to give you a heads up while we're going through this. Having said that, let's get right into it. Okay. So crazy things are going on, okay? Crazy things are going on all over the place. Rob, I want to start off with this Epstein. What just happened this weekend with the Epstein files, right? Emails came out with 2,300 email messages, cache, many of which mention Trump. Rob, is this the video you have on there? Let me read this and then we'll go into the video. Congress released a cache documents this week that were recently turned over by Epstein's estate. Amongst them, more than 2,300 email threads that the convicted sex offender either sent or received between 2008 and 2019. House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed the state for all of Epstein's communication with 92 people who were named in Virginia Giuffre's 2015 defamation lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, including Epstein's associate and assistants, as well as all of U.S. presidents and vice presidents. Not surprisingly, President Trump and Clinton are both referenced hundreds of times in what was released this week, according to a Wall Street Journal analysis. Former President Barack Obama's name appears as well. The journal's analysis didn't identify messages that any of the U.S. presidents wrote directly to Epstein or received emails from him, just references to them by Epstein or his conversation partners. Trump's name appeared in more than half of the email files, often in shared news stories about his policies during the 2016 election and his presidency, a time when Trump talks was inescapable. Epstein also criticized Trump with some friends, passed along tips to reporters, and answered questions from associates. Rob, which one is this here?
So I have CNN covering the Epstein files. I also have Donald Trump on Air Force One talking about the release of the files, and then I also have ABC News. Which would you prefer?
Let's go with Trump first. Go for it.
Greene, the congresswoman, was on CBS News. She was talking about how the files should be released. We anticipate that a vote will happen in the House. I know you have about the investigation today.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. thrown out by the Democrat, and a couple of few Republicans have gone along with it.
Okay,
because
put it up,
they're
Rob.
weakening
That's fine. Okay, so you can barely hear it, but you kind of understand what the president is saying on the Air Force One. What is Kristen saying in this one here, Rob?
This is her reporting that Trump is in the Epstein files. Caitlin Collins.
Go for it.
Jeffrey Epstein mentioned Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence over the last 15 years or so. These are newly released emails obtained by CNN that show Jeffrey Epstein bringing Donald Trump up in conversations with Ghislaine Maxwell and the author Michael Wolff. We got them after members of Congress got their hands on them after they subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's estate, which in turn handed over thousands of documents to Congress.
You can pause.
Now,
It's
in
pretty much
these
just repeating what we just read right now. And anything else on the other one, Rob? On
No,
what's
that's
going
it.
on? Okay, so Vinny, your thoughts on this? I mean, some of this stuff is new stuff, but what are you thinking? The president is now saying, just release the damn thing. Let's move on with it, which I believe should have been the case from the beginning. It would have prevented all of these things, but I understand some of the reasoning on why it happened. But what are your thoughts?
I don't. This thing has been going on for how long have we been talking about? It's like every week it comes up, it goes away, something happens, we do something else on the global scale, and then boom, tariffs, whatever, war, bombing of Venezuela, and then we're back to this. I think, and then I just found out, Pat, like Ghislaine Maxwell apparently is getting a puppy. She got gifted a puppy, and she's getting all this stuff. Like, think about it. She's convicted for all these freaking offenses, and now she's getting this leniency, which I think that's a whole.
While she's in prison, you're saying?
While she's in prison, Tom, she's getting a freaking what are you talking about? You're involved with the biggest sex trafficking, pedophile, whatever Megyn Kelly wants to or what doesn't want to call him. I think this is what I think happened. Okay, they all had a relationship with this guy. Trump was never involved with anything with underage kids. What I heard, Pat, especially through Michael Wolff and all these people, is number one, the moment Donald Trump found out that Ghislaine Maxwell was recruiting girls from Mar-a-Lago to go and hook up with Epstein or all of his clients, he banned him. He finished him. And then on top of that, I found out that a big real estate business deal between Epstein and Trump went south because Trump is a business guy and Trump was going to win, Pat. That's where the relationship went south. In regard to releasing the files, I don't think it's ever going to happen because I feel, this is Vincent Oshana's opinion, not a lot, let's say a few of Trump's friends, Pat, are implicated in there.
Yeah.
But then him saying, release them too, knowing the Democrats will never approve it because their main people, the Bill Clintons, the Bill Gates, all these guys, I feel, are going to be on there. So if one goes down, the whole house goes down. So they can't do it. They can't. You're never gonna see it. But and we're gonna get into the other stuff later. But Jamie Raskin, just really fast, Pat. Federal prison staff at Ghislaine Maxwell's facility illegally accessed and leaked her privileged attorney-client emails to Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat. I think Minnesota or Maryland, who then publicly released the materials to the media as part of an effort to smear Trump this past weekend. Okay, it's been revealed that he was involved in a plot where they stole her attorney. And Rob, I sent you a release of the lawyer. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like that this thing keeps coming up. I know they're not going to release it, but I guess and that's the letter right there from the lawyer. They're leaking stuff to try to get Trump. If they had anything on Trump, he would have been buried already. He would have been buried a long time ago.
Yeah. And by the way, here's what Jen Psaki had to say. And very quickly, she walks it back, Rob, if you want to play this clip. Watch this one, folks.
In supporting what Donald Trump is doing.
You're talking about the other predators out there, in addition to Trump. I mean, I'm not saying he is. We don't know all the details about that. I just mean in addition to what we've learned about Epstein and others, there's other predators out there.
There are, and we have to remember
she
that
learned very quickly when she said that.
Can I ask you a question, though?
What?
He could still get her for being like
knowing Trump, he can because of the $5 billion lawsuit.
Yeah, that right there was like a $5 million a minute.
Yeah, but while this is happening, you were talking about the Virgin Islands, what Epstein did with the congressman. Go ahead.
I think, and Rob, you could go, I think 13 seconds, brother. This is, I don't know, and I get Epstein's at the top of the list. How is this not the biggest headline crazy? There's a new video from the Washington Post that shows something from 2019, oversight hearing of Michael Cohen's testifying about the hush money payments with Trump, with this mess with the Democrats. We're trying to turn it into a conspiracy. While this is happening, Epstein is texting Stacey Plaskett from the Virgin Islands, telling her what to ask, and you could literally see her glance down, read it, and then fire off the exact question. And the timestamps on the messages match the video in the hearing. Go ahead, Rob, play this. How is this real?
President of the United
Are you
States.
chewing?
And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood,
look at her.
in
She's chewing
Chicago,
gum, Pat. She's chewing gum. Not
she
anymore.
commented that only black people could live that way.
Stacey Plaskett, 2 minutes later.
Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will
Cohen
turn it
brought
over.
up Rona.
You, as my friend Mr.
Keep
Meadows
the
pointed out,
secrets.
misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted
She's
your
texting him.
testimony.
She doesn't
You
know
have
what Rona
suggested You were
is.
going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Quick, you're
Question:
up
You
next.
helped out the president.
Is this an acronym? She's asking.
Or were involved
Epstein.
in the campaign.
Quick, what
as
does
a
Rona mean?
representative, as a spokesman,
And it's a
even
person.
in your
Pat.
words today,
That's the
was
assistant's
your
name.
idea for the campaign dating back
How
to
crazy is
2011.
this?
Is that accurate? Yes or no?
That's
Yes.
the assistant.
Wait, this is 2019?
Yes.
Mr.
Okay. And then look-
Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They
And
are.
are there other people that we should be meeting with?
Look, she's.
So, Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
Crazy, Tom.
You got to quickly give us as many
Look, quick,
names
she wants
as you
names,
can,
Pat.
so we can get to
Because Epstein's coaching her.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is the Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his.
Good work.
And she's involved in a lot.
I want everybody
that
to
went on.
understand this, Patrick. How is this not the number one? A convicted pedophile, sex offender, whatever you want to call him, was actively texting a sitting member of Congress, coaching her during a freaking oversight hearing. How is that not the top news story? And she's nothing. There's no breaking news. There's no nothing. She's still in Congress.
How did they get those text messages?
The Washington Post found out through all the emails and stuff that were released recently. This past all the email dumps, they timed it and they found out because they were trying to figure out what time is
While
this.
she's up there, she's getting
in
text messages from
Pat,
Epstein.
the leaks are coming out left, right, and center. You heard Caitlin Collins say they were the.
Wow.
Didn't Caitlin Collins said the emails went here and then we got our hands on them?
Yes.
How did that? What she's saying is they got leaked to CNN. That's what Caitlin Collins is saying. And now somebody is alertly putting them in order here, showing how sitting members of Congress, remember this is U.S. Virgin Island, and they have a congresswoman, says has it. That's what's going on here, and they're aligning it. Although I like the last text. The last text. We got to write. We have to wrap this up quick. I got the Kamala debate at 7.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the freaking pedophile
Is that
behind
a
the
joke
curtain.
or you
That's a big joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and this is what is it saying, Robert? Going to the Representative Pause. Jefferson statements emerged from public release case. So, wow, it is. Oversight Committee released 20,000 pages of material drawn from Epstein's communication, including email, text messages. Amongst those were redacted text message transcripts that did not explicitly name the recipient, but included sufficiently time span stamped and content-rich messages.
How does what did he promise her? Or what did he give her to be able to get access like that to her?
So plays devil's advocate. What's wrong with having that communication with Epstein if he's giving intel to her? Maybe she's getting due diligence. Maybe she's doing research. Maybe she's doing recon. What's bad about it?
Because first he's a convicted pedophile. 2, you're a sitting member of Congress. You're getting coached by this pedophile because what's his motive, Pat? They want to take down Trump. And he wants to take down Trump, not because he was with him doing stuff with young girls. It's because he screwed him over on a freaking business deal, and Epstein wanted to get his ass. Or maybe somebody else didn't want him to get in. With all the stuff that was happening, with assassination attempts to come, how the FBI should be at her freaking office this morning. Let's be honest with each other, Tom. Right? Like, what are we talking about right now? The number one pedophile. Everything is Epstein. You're getting coached. By the way, who else is he texting? Who else does he know in Congress? Who else are his friends? That's insane. I don't know how she's not getting literally her door kicked down.
By the way, Bill Clinton responded to the Epstein probe. Rob, I don't know if you have that or not. There's President Clinton, because obviously there's a bunch of names that's coming up, and he's always been in these stories. But with this one getting even closer, that things may be leaked very quickly. Bill Clinton did nothing and knew nothing. The rest is noise, meant to distract from election losses, backfire shutdowns, and who else know. What's this, Rob?
I believe this is a spokesman. He's the deputy chief of staff for President Bill Clinton. This is the statement that he put out regarding Clinton's association with Epstein following the release of all of these files.
Got it. So they're saying now that there was nothing that was going on with his involvement. Those emails prove Bill Clinton did nothing, knew nothing, and the rest is noise. The direction the development follows the recent Epstein Bondi announcement came hours after Trump posted on Truth Social that he would request that cheated DOJ and the FBI look into Epstein's involvement and relationship with Clinton, as well as former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, which I'm not mistaken, Reid Hoffman also responded to this. Mm-hmm. Is this the tweet wrap?
Yes.
Okay, so as I said on Friday night on Air Force One, fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory of Democratic shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public and are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and Larry Summers, in a relationship with Epstein. And the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that the Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investments into America, and it gets into the message. Adam, your position here.
Yeah, I mean, signal through the noise. What Trump cares about is getting out message. Because he's real. By the way, I don't know if you've seen Trump's polling numbers lately. They're not looking as good as before. If you're in the 40s in America today, polling-wise, overall in anything, you're okay. You're sort of above water in regard to the national sentiment. But when you start hitting 30s is when you start having a problem. This is where Trump is sort of heading. I'm supporting Trump, but when he says, I don't care, release it if you need to release it, let's get back on message. You're seeing what's happening in the last couple of weeks with Democrats winning in these highly contested elections, especially in New York. I think there was another sort of far leftist that won in Seattle, I want to say. So for Trump to come back and reverse course, 180 and say, just release it. The challenge right now is that this is like grown-up version of Real Housewives of D.C. or Real Housewives of Epstein Island. If there was truly something attached to Trump, don't you think the Democrats would have released this somehow over the next 5-10 years?
If they're implicated on, like, think about it, Adam. If they're all over it, this is all a game
Correct.
of no, do it. No, you do it.
Bingo. But this whole slow drip of drip, 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 drip. I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant. At some point, you got to rip this Band-Aid off. The only challenge I see is if some of these names or some of these stories that are being released are truly a detriment to national security. National security is where I draw the line. Sure, I want accountability. Sure, we all want justice. Sure, we all want to know what's going on. But if this is going to be a net negative to the country of America, I can't condone that.
Let me ask you one, because I want to show one quick video as well. So what you're saying is if people of high power are pedophiles or whatever, everybody's worried about numbers, underage women and men, because I think that there was underage boys as well. We keep harping on females. Like, you're saying if it's going to hurt the country, then let the country that's built on blackmail and pedophilia keep continuing.
Well, see, it's a false equivalency. The country that's built on blackmail.
Did you read Whitney Webb's books? I did.
Yeah, of course.
One Nation Under Blackmail.
We've interviewed, but
it goes deep.
To say that the country is built on blackmail and pedophilia.
Well, you're saying that's
is such a shocking, bombastic statement. Okay. These people allegedly did some bad things.
Yeah,
that is different from the country is built on blackmail.
What if policy?
Pedophilia.
What about policies and bombings and this and that? We're made because somebody said, "Hey, I have a video of you with the girl."
I think Epstein was a bad dude doing bad things. I also think we're giving him way too much credit.
I don't.
That this guy was the one running everything.
Not running
behind
everything,
the
but that was a go-to
The
guy.
entire government is based on what Epstein was doing.
Adam,
that to me is a false flag.
You know why I think it should come out? And if Pat, you let me. This is the Epstein survivor. They're begging Congress to release the videos. Tell me this doesn't bother you. Go ahead, Rob. How old were they? Watch this.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
14.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
1,000. 1,000 girls. You can stop it, Rob. That's why, Adam, I don't care. These people need justice. And imagine the ones that we don't know. I'm sorry, Adam. Let it all come down. That's my opinion. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get your position. I get your position. This is nasty. Every time I watch these documentaries with these girls, you go to a point where you want to hurt this guy. If that's a family, somebody related to you, a close friend of yours, you want to hurt this guy. But this is not stopping here, because I think, Rob, if you have the clip of is it Rokana, is it Thomas Massie and MTG? Is there a story there about that where do you know which one I'm talking about?
I do have this clip. Thomas Massie, he warns Republicans against voting against the release of the Epstein files.
Go for it.
I would remind my Republican colleagues who are deciding how to vote, Donald Trump can protect you in red districts right now by giving you an endorsement. But in 2030, he's not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's.
Okay, so that's Thomas Massie. President Trump responds to Thomas Massie, and he says the following about Thomas Massie. Pretty brutal what he said to him, not holding back. The Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact that he always votes against Republican Party, get married already. Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than 8% chance of winning the election. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas. His wife will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser.
It's getting ugly.
Yeah. So look, and then.
But this issue did not begin here over this thing.
No. This has been going on.
Some people aren't familiar with Thomas Massie because as much as we maybe talk about him in our maybe circles, this guy's not a household name. He doesn't have national name significance. I'm not saying he's inconsequential, but the average person does not know who Thomas Massie is. Everybody knows who Trump is. No, so he has the bully pulpit.
But Thomas Massie's not a lightweight. He's a fighter. He's not a guy that you can push around and think he's nobody. And here's lightweight Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Green grass turns brown when it begins to rot.
Wow.
Betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left. Performed poorly on The Pathetic View and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Just another fake politician. No different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massie, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name-only rhino, Make America Great Again. All right. While this is going on, this is her saying she wants to change her position on the rhetoric. And Rob, that's a perfect clip if you got that, because it's all over the place. Go ahead, Rob.
You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
Okay, so that's that tweet. Okay, the back and forth again, not pretty, nasty. But she was right. There's highlight reels of her going after a lot of different people.
Oh no, she's been a big Trump ally for
she has
10
been.
years,
And you know, when she won, she's the reason why McCarthy's not the Speaker of the House. So she played over here. Here's the phone. That one picture. You know which one I'm talking about? Where he's like, "Here, talk to the president." Yeah. And this is at a time where the president was not necessarily didn't fully have all the Republicans. What's this one about, Rob?
This is President Trump responding to Marjorie Taylor Greene last night about her being threatened when he calls her a traitor.
Go ahead, Rob.
Danger because of the rhetoric?
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the part of the president.
Tough, man.
You cross the line, he gets to this point. Now, What will happen? Who knows? While the files are being released and they're going back and forth and they're doing what they're doing. The one last tweet I want to show, Rob, actually play that clip. Is this the one that says Epstein wasn't a pedophile? Yeah, there's two clips I want to play. One is this one, and another clip I want to play from Julian Assange from 10 years ago. But go ahead and play this clip first, Rob. Go for it.
For Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, Pam lost a lot of credibility. But what do you think about the definition?
My thing is this. If they're under 15 or under, like, you're going, like, if it was up to me and the whole castration and then, you know, put them to death, like, I don't care how, like, definitions of what's a pedophile and what's not a pedophile. Were they underage and did you destroy their lives? Period. And mind you, this is what the insider thinks and whatever. Nobody was on that island. Nobody has seen the footage. Who knows what else they were into? If you're on an island by yourself and nobody's watching you and you're protected as all hell, as obviously that we've seen, who knows what they're doing back? Because I thought about this. If these underage girls or underage or whoever, with all these people, with all these recognizable faces, you can't just let all of them just go back into society and come back to the United States or whatever. No, you have to, like, in my opinion, Pat, you got to get rid of them. Let's just say, figuratively speaking, a underage girl, 14, 15, whatever the age is with a Bill Clinton or a Bill Gates or whatever, and they know who they are and they see their face. You're going to release that person back into the United States of America and say, hey, go for it. No. The logical thing is you get rid of them. You have to kill them because they cannot spread the word of, I saw Bill Clinton. Oh, that guy? Oh, yeah. I think I can care less about.
What are you thinking, Tom?
So I think, first of all, Megyn Kelly, I'll make this quick. Megyn Kelly took a lot of heat over the weekend for that comment. She gave a very legal, reasoned argument, but in a hyper emotional topic, and people, overreacted that she was giving him a get out of jail free card. She wasn't, nor was she classifying him. She carefully described the source she had. She carefully couched where it came from and what she believed. And then she referenced Pam Bondi. This is the Attorney General of the United States, getting caught on an open mic in a restaurant, and the next day on the driveway at the White House talking to the media. So on that one, I don't understand why everybody was so just out of their shoes on Megyn Kelly, who I think is a strong lawyer, and a solid individual, in my opinion, and everybody comes out of their shoes. Now, to your point, Vinny, what you have always said is if there were people of power that were on that island and they were with the underage girls, age of consent, depending on the state, but 14 is, I don't think there's...
Across the board, it's bad.
I don't want to get in trouble here. I think that Kentucky had 14 for a long time or something.
Okay.
But anyway, you get to 14, 13, it's like 50 states, age of consent. If that's what was going on, I agree. These people should be brought to justice. I also think what's going on right now, watch this. You and your brother are texting back and forth about being out past midnight, and that was your dad's curfew, your mom's curfew, and getting drunk.
Okay.
I've got texts. I'm your brother. You've got texts.
Yes.
We both text each other. You get in hot water with dad, and then you scream, release the text.
Yeah.
Release the text. What am I going to say? No, wait.
Stop,
hang on.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little of that going on, and everybody's trying to play the distraction card, Pat. J.B. Pritzker, he's trying to distract from Epstein. Clinton, shut up about Epstein.
Yeah.
He's trying to distract from the shutdown. It was almost that all the remember, when all the news media, they harmonize on the same word? You had Democrats all weekend long harmonizing on distract. Oh, he's just trying to distract. Really? So it did not appear that there is a 600 people in Washington. Excuse me, I'll do this. There was not 250 people in Congress, more than a majority, who are all together saying, release the Epstein files. They say Trump won't release the files.
Exactly.
That's always their accusation.
So
Trump won't do it, but nobody else appears to want it to go out either. And they don't want to vote. And that was the point Thomas Massie's making. Nobody wants to be on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what it comes down to. Joe Bliss just did a super chat right now. We rarely give shout outs to super chats. Trump should have released the files from the beginning like he campaigned on. I don't think he campaigned on it. However, I do believe this could have been very easily solved if he would have done that. And quick shout out to George, Hans Ben as well on listening to this with the FLBs. You'll save for it. And then Joe, much love to you as well. Appreciate you guys. But let me go back to this. So from the beginning, the more and more he kept trying to dodge this to not do it, it led to this. Now, it's released, it's going to move on, it's going to be done, right? So who has access to information if they could find out if anybody was involved with this or not? Do you remember Julian Assange? And do you remember Snowden?
Yep.
Okay, here's Megyn Kelly. When she was at Fox, have you seen this clip?
No.
She's interviewing Assange, and look what she asks Assange nearly 10 years ago. Go ahead, Rob.
About the U.S. election, as you point out, you're not an American citizen. You're an Australian. You're clearly not rooting for Hillary. But are you rooting for Trump?
No. I mean, if we have good information on Trump, we publish that. If we have good information on Hillary, the Democrats, we publish that. It is a bit concerning, the allegations that by the Clinton campaign that everyone is a Russian agent are really disturbing. Why is that? Well, because bizarrely, Hillary Clinton, the Democrat, has positioned herself now to be the security candidate. She's powered up with the neocons responsible for the Iraq War, and she's grabbed on to this kind of neo-McCarthyist hysteria about Russia and is using that to demonize the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign has all sorts of things wrong with it, but as far as we can see, being Russian agents is not one of them. Some people have asked us, when will you release information on Donald Trump? And of course, we are very interested in all countries to reveal the truth about different candidates so people can understand. But it's really hard for us to release anything worse than what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth every second day. I mean, it's part of his charismatic appeal that he speaks off the cuff.
But the point,
his
that's
mouth
the
is the worst
credibility.
thing.
So
Yeah.
that's the credibility to say, if there's any guy that had anything to release on it, it's a lot of
him.
these guys. But I want to go back to something here while we're covering this, because the technicality of pedophilia and all this stuff. So Iranian military, Rob, if you can go to this tweet, like they should have never done this. Can you first go to their tweet? They tweet the tweet of the president saying the best president in the White House. And then the Iran military monitor says, in Iran, we hang pedophiles.
Oh, really?
In the U.S., they are made presidents and senators.
Wow.
Now, can you imagine? By the way, this is not like it's a small account. Can you go to the account so we see how many followers they got? 1.6 million followers.
Wow.
And it's followed by some people. So you go back, monitoring Iran's military activities and capabilities. Can you go back to the Twitter account? No, it's all good. The capabilities since 2009, independent media. So they're trying to edify Iran. Now go back and see the tweet that I brought to these guys.
You edify like that. You better
One
be
more
careful.
back, Rob. And I said the following. I said, you hang pedophiles. In Khomeini's book, who is one of the top 5 most important figures in the religion, especially Iran, Tahrir al-Wasila, he said a man can marry a girl younger than 9 years old. However, he is not permitted to have vaginal intercourse with her until she reaches 9. Did you hang him? Or is he not considered pedophilia in Iran. And if you go to the bottom section, the readers, this is Iran legally allows girls today under 10 to be married to adult majors of any age.
What?
Think about this. Civil Code 2007 prohibits marriage before the age of majority, but for girls, the age of majority is 8 years old and 9 months.
This is still happening.
This is Grok. This is, you can even go to the bottom and check with Grok if Khomeini did say something like that. A bunch of guys are fact checking it. So this is when Iran gets involved in a story that you shouldn't get involved in, and then backfires. Anyway,
hypocrisy.
If there's anybody, watch, look at this. This one guy asked, "Is that true?" Okay, yes. Khomeini's book permits a man to contract marriage with a girl younger than 9 lunar years age, though it prohibits vaginal intercourse until she reaches 9. This ruling aligns with traditional interpretation. Can you imagine this? Okay, so a lot of people are sitting here going back and forth. I think this could have been prevented if it was done from the beginning, but I do think there was some relationships and some ways of holding people hostage, as well as some of the people that you're talking about. But it is what it is now. It's out. I think they're voting for it tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right? Rob, is it tomorrow that they're voting for it? Yeah, they're voting for it tomorrow, so we'll stay tuned, and we'll see where it goes to next. The next story I want to get to is the following. Is Venezuela, okay? Trump escalates pressure on Venezuela, but endgame is unclear. If you go on Marco Rubio's tweet, Rob, if you don't mind, this is where Marco Rubio, suddenly the U.S. decides to put Venezuela on Maduro on a list. And what kind of a list is this? Not just any list. And when you see a list like this, what does it make you think about? Watch this. State Department intends to designate Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization, FTO, headed by illegitimate Nicolas Maduro. The group has corrupted the institutions of government in Venezuela and is responsible for terrorist violence conducted by and with other designated FTOs, as well as for trafficking drugs into the U.S. and to Europe. When you do something like that, Tom, if the average person was to read that, can you interpret what that really means? To me, it only means one thing, but what does it mean to you?
Well, a week ago, Maduro was saying, can you please remove the bounty on me? And there were rumors that unsubstantiated as to how many things he said. But apparently a week ago, he was trying to negotiate backdoor with the U.S. government to, remove the bounty and to figure something out, right? What this means is, dude, did they just double the bounty and they're doubling down on the language on the bounty? I mean, if you're Maduro, I mean, you won't go on a fishing boat in the middle of a lake. You might get hit. Yeah. So it's like, be careful where you do.
It's a bad time for him to go fishing.
A bad time to be on a boat in your driveway.
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Well, I mean, if what he's basically, like me, average Joe, if I read that, if you're designating them as terrorists and he's the head of it, you're a terrorist leader.
But what does that mean, though?
That means that we could go and attack on the land as well. We don't have to worry. Wherever they are, we're going to send missiles.
That means if a tomahawk lands in your oatmeal, that there's nothing you can do about it.
So which means Marco Rubio and Trump could have followed up with a T-shirt with the White House logo on it saying "Fafo," right? And Maduro's picture on it, right? Yeah. And that would have sold well.
Can I ask you a question from someone that's not like, I haven't been following this much. I just see the bombing of the boats, and I see the outrage. People are like Charlemagne the God was like, they could be fishermen, whatever. Charlemagne.
He didn't say that.
He said that him and
he said they could be
I just love that podcast.
Well, you know what's really funny about that? In the late 80s, you know what they used to call the marijuana that would wash up in Florida? What? Square groupers.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So maybe he was out, Charlemagne's out there fishing for square groupers.
Yeah. So here's my question. Why is America getting involved? I mean, if you look at the surface, okay, they're sending boats, Maduro. Are they trying? I've heard some people saying that they're trying to, because the CIA's done this before, get rid of a leader and put somebody that we want in there. And my question is, why would they want to do that? What does Venezuela have that we want?
Can you see bored CIA agents at Starbucks this morning? Hey, man, you see they got the bounty on his head. Yeah. He says, yeah, but you see what the president did over the weekend? Yeah, we're in.
Yeah, we got it.
What's this?
We can go out and play.
Let's play. Let's watch this. He didn't say that.
They're fishing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they just said, nah, that's a drug boat. Do y'all really believe that they're just blowing up fishermen in Venezuela?
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible.
Come on, y'all.
Yes.
This is where you lose the plot.
This won't be the first time that the Trump administration has not measured twice to cut once.
Yeah, but this is
the same guy who's using Signal.
Yeah, but this is where you lose the plot, man. Like, this is what's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing. To your point.
It's like getting upset at Trump for renovating the White House. Like, there's all these people who've never even been in the fucking White House.
What if you just out there?
Yeah, like they're out there. And by the way, Charlemagne, I don't take anything that he says serious. Everything he's saying, he's reading off of his phone or off his computer on the Breakfast Club. But I'm thinking, what does Venezuela have? What's there that if we had to go there and take rid of Maduro and put in our guy, what does Venezuela have, Tom? Is it minerals? Is it oil? What does Venezuela have? I'm just curious. I'm trying to piece it together.
Arepas, cachapas, they got a few things.
If you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being
like if you want to Rob, can you go pull up the biggest oil reserves in the world by country? Go look it up.
Then there you go.
They're like the one member of OPEC that's not in the Middle East.
Oh, okay. So I get
it. Type in biggest oil reserves in the world.
Oh, man.
Okay. In the world by ranking. Yeah, there you go. So check
Venezuela?
this out. Watch this. Watch this where they rank. They have this thing called oil.
Then what?
303 billion barrels. Look who's number 2. Saudi. That you think is 1, is 2. Then it's Iran. Then it's Canada. Then it's Iraq.
So I can understand how or why we would want.
Listen, I think to me it's a couple different things. I think one is probably this is one thing that I think the president is aware of. I think that like when you bring your leaders in, you want your Secretary of State to be the best one ever.
Yeah.
You want your VP to be the best one ever. You want your guys to do the best ever. And I think it's his way of giving them the victory for 2028. And I think this is going to be a big victory for Rubio. Rubio's going to pick up this victory if they're able to do what they're doing with Venezuela. By the way, a lot of people are like, well, I don't think we should use taxpayer money. I know this Chilean guy who's an insider.
That guy.
He's with the CIA, but like I don't want,
Can't trust that guy.
The money for this because what if this and what if that? And I get that argument as well on the taxes. But I think it's 1, this is Rubio's victory. 2, it's the oil to protect. They're close to us. They're not that far. It's not like you're dealing with somebody in the Middle East. I think those could be some of the reasons. But who knows? Adam, your thoughts?
No, everything has been encapsulated here. I think I'm on Team Trump here, man. I mean, look, if we kind of boil down what's going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene, with Thomas Massie, with all these individuals out there, I actually totally understand where they're coming from because who's their allegiance to? It should be as a representative to their constituency.
Love
your
that
favorite word.
Great word.
But as you get bigger and you're responsible for more people, your message needs to start to unify. And your message needs to go from me to we. So when you go from representative to senator to governor to president of the United States, you have a lot more people that are leaning on you, and the agenda is that much more important. So to me, I totally understand why Trump is doing all these amazing things. Tariffs, border, peace deals, everything, and you have this one thorn in your side. And Trump is not the type of person to mince words. He said, all I care about is getting back on message. This is removing that sort of angst that he has going on right there.
Rob just asked a very good question on the poll. What will the U.S. military conduct land strikes in Venezuela?
I'd say yes.
Land strikes in Venezuela?
Because Rubio's saying that they're going to be, because if he's labeled them terrorists, bro, they're going to go, it's not just going to be boats.
So I think they have to be very, very careful. And one of the things that wasn't brought up just now is that you have to keep in mind just how much China has in Venezuela. China made it's under $100 billion, but I think it's heading toward there in the loans that they've made to Venezuela for oil production. And CNPC, which is Chinese National Petroleum Company, has all these JVs. Remember, we can find out how many JVs they actually have. 2 years ago, there were leaks coming out that, no, it was 1 JV. No, it was 2. No, it was 3. Wall Street Journal reported that there was more than that they've got all these JVs going around like up there. So if you're going to get in there, you got to be careful in these coastal areas because there's a bunch of Chinese projects that are there, and you don't want to piss them off at a time where you're trying to negotiate. Venezuela is a freaking Jenga game here in our hemisphere.
Did you see who's sending protection to Venezuela? Did you see who's sending protection to Venezuela?
No, I did not.
Have you seen that, Rob? Have you seen who is sending protection to Venezuela?
Who is it?
Okay, I'll send you this.
Is it Russia? Because Russia has tended to back up, customers of its weapons.
Okay, Rob, do me a favor. Watch this here, Rob. I'm going to see. Go ahead and play this clip. Watch this. Go for it.
Iran is sending drones to Venezuela for Venezuela to use in potential strikes against American warships.
Bad for you.
If the U.S. decides to bomb Venezuela, this could turn into a major international crisis. Venezuelan officials said, "We are almost certainly in need of these Iranian drones with a range of 1,000 kilometers. But it's not just Iran. China is also preparing to send military equipment to Venezuela, meaning the U.S. could be facing a serious fight if tensions escalate." Just a week ago, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro sent a letter directly to China. Ironically, that letter was intercepted by the U.S., revealing what was inside. In the message, Venezuela asked for expanded military cooperation between Venezuela and China. Russia has already supplied Venezuela with air defense systems, missiles, and other weapons. It's very likely that Russia's allies, China and Iran, will also continue sending military support to Venezuela. Whether this situation becomes a serious challenge for the United States or just another manageable conflict remains to be seen. Follow for the latest updates. Breaking.
Okay, so how does that make you feel when you see that? What does that make you think about?
It means you got to be pretty freaking careful about toppling Maduro because there's some very powerful people that are interested in him. And this is the thing that I've been worried about. The Iranian drones here, I understand what they're doing. They're protecting an OPEC brother, as that's the way they see it. They see it as an OPEC brother, not a brother in Muslim faith. But they do see it as their side of the balance sheet economic ally. And that's not a surprise. And China also has been helping Venezuela with satellites for a long time. So China's got the satellites up there to help you sense if people are coming to attack you, and they're getting drones from this. And so what we have to do behind the curtain is saying, listen, this guy is a nutcase. He's destabilizing our region. It's on our front door. Don't screw with me while I take care of this. That's got to be the Trump message to China and Iran.
I don't know what Russia's involvement is, Pat, but in February 2025, Venezuela exports of crude and fuel averaged 934,000 barrels per day. 503,000 went to China. So they're
over 50% of the oil export. What was the date?
February 2025.
Okay, so earlier this year in first quarter, you know, they're sending more than half of the oil to China that does not have oil.
And there's no, I couldn't find anything why Russia would be sending air defense because they're not really doing the oil situation with them, but. Obviously, China, Russia's involved as well.
I don't know about you guys. The last country I'm worried about at this point is Iran. They've had their chance to, quote unquote, be the big dog. They've lost everything. All their proxies, all their clout, all their air capabilities, nothing. And while their people in Iran are basically struggling for survival, you're telling me I'm worried about what they're going to do in a proxy war with Venezuela? Not even worried a little bit. Trump is utilizing the Monroe Doctrine, which is essentially like stay the hell out of the Western Hemisphere. For China or Russia or Iran specifically to think that they're going to be the have an agenda to topple anything that is going on in the American hegemony, to me is fruitless and will not do anything. Another thing is, do you remember when they said that about Syria? Oh, Syria's going to fall. Now they have this new, terrorist dressed up in a suit. What's going to happen there? Who's going to come to the defense? Russia did not come to the defense. That was their biggest advocate. Iran did not help them because they're dealing with their own issues. Some of the reason that we're still involved in Ukraine is because if we keep Russia preoccupied, they can't fund certain things. Russia, China, Iran. You notice that this sort of like three-card Monty that they keep doing. We're spending their money. They're spending their assets. They're spending their resources to basically stay afloat. I'm not worried about them taking down the United States. What I think the American people are worried about, nobody, and I mean nobody, is in favor of troops on the ground in Venezuela. We weren't a fan of it in Iran. We weren't a fan of it in Israel and Gaza. Certainly not a fan of it in our own hemisphere. At the same time, this guy Maduro guy's got to go, and I think his time is up. It's just a matter of time.
I think we're going to get it done, and Rubio's going to take the W.
Good for him.
Yeah,
and nobody knows more about what's going on in Latin America, Cuba,
but can
Venezuela,
it be messy?
than
Sure.
Rubio.
Is there a lot of risk? Sure.
Oh, I do think it's going to be messy, but I think it's going to happen fairly quickly as well. Okay, next one. Rob, I'm doing this very quick, guys. I don't want to stay on this story for too long. The whole BBC back and forth that they cut that video. Mm-hmm. Trump is officially suing BBC for $5 billion despite the apology, but for $5 billion. Think about how big this manipulation is from a journalistic company that lacks integrity, where the president is suing you for $5 billion, where your CEO has to resign. Rob, go ahead.
We'll sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion, probably sometime next week. So you're ready to take? Well, I think I have to do it. I mean, they've even admitted that they cheated. Not that they couldn't have not done that. They cheated. They changed the words coming out of my mouth. That's worse than what CBS did with Kamala. They changed her answer, but at least it showed, coming out of her mouth.
He's gonna own. He's gonna. They're gonna change BBC to big beautiful channel.
But I think this is gonna change the game.
Oh, big.
But I think this is gonna change the game. I think it's gonna change the game because I think it's also gonna change the game in the next 10, 20 years. You know what else I think is gonna happen? Podcasts are gonna go through this.
Like they have to watch every single thing.
No. If you become a very big podcast, you got 10 million viewers a week, 20 million viewers a week. Don't forget, Cronkite used to get 30 million viewers every time he was on because there was only a couple shows back in the day. So it's not like he had a lot of competition. 3 shows he was competing with. So 2 or 3 shows he was competing with. So if that happens with podcast and guys are coming out saying,
fake
stuff and doing it themselves as well, I think there's some I don't think this is going away. I think the level of, of course, the podcast thing is going to be different because they're going to say, well, I'm just a podcaster.
Yeah,
I'm giving my opinion.
It's conversations.
I'm a talking kid. I'm not somebody that went to school, Columbia, to start BBC and be a journalist. That's not where I'm at. Just like comedians are like, I'm just a comedian, man. I'm just a comedian. I'm just a podcaster. But I do think this accountability for companies like BBC, CBS, that's actually a very good thing that's taking place. Tom.
So 2 things. We covered it last podcast, but we'll say it again. We have to remember, she that resigned was the past president of NBC News for the 4 years before and after 2016 election. She was the president of NBC News. And so she was doing things over here, and she was presiding over reporting that a lot of people talked about, right? A lot of people had issues with that. I'm not going to go point by point, but there were things that were going on. And she was the president of NBC News, 2013, 2017. There's those 4 years that spanned over 2016, that election. And so she was there with Russia. She was there with those things, and that's what she was doing. So was she personally approving it? I don't know. You were the president of NBC News when all that stuff was going down, number one. Number two, the words to watch out for, Pat's absolutely right, are newsworthy and public opinion. The minute, why did they use insurgency? Because that's the word in the Constitution. The lawsuit will swing on newsworthy and public opinion. And in the future, if that podcast has got 20 million views a week, and what they talk about is newsworthy and moves public opinion, and they give a forum to candidates, bang. At that moment, he's right. Now you're going to have people coming after podcasts because you were too newsworthy and too much public opinion on the opposite side from their candidates, and they're going to come after you.
Rob, what is this? This is Alexis.
Yes, this came down late last week. Kash Patel's girlfriend, Alexis Wilkins, she is currently suing 3 podcasters who claimed, or at least alleged, or said that she may be a Mossad honeypot.
Did they allege or did they say?
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
How did they say it?
What I could find, Elijah Schaefer just made tweets about it, but they weren't even tweets saying that she was a honeypot. It was just they were connecting different tweets that he put out that kind of linked it to the idea that she's a honeypot, but there was no tweet where he's like, "This woman is working on behalf of Israel."
Got it.
It's a pretty wild, and one guy did a long podcast about it. It's crazy that the director of the FBI's girlfriend's going after these people, which I don't think they're not going to win. But Pat, just to give a heads up, I'm so happy when I hear the story about Trump. All the fake news, all the Jim Acosta, all the Trump collusion, all the lying, and I'm so happy to give you guys a little tally. He sued YouTube $25.5 million, Meta $25 million, X $10 million, CBS Paramount $16 million, ABC News Disney $16 million. That's a combined total of $92,500,000. Good for all of you. Good.
Rob, who's this?
This is Elijah Schaefer, one of the podcasters that's being sued by Alexis Watkins. Here he is talking about the actual lawsuit and what he said about her.
Kash Patel was appointed as director of the FBI in February of 2025. The conspiratorial corners of the internet and social media have been spreading false narratives about Ms. Wilkins as an Israeli Mossad agent, spy, or quote, honeypot, who is only in the relationship with Kash Patel to spy on and manipulate the United States government. Defendant's wordless reply, it goes on to say. So to clarify, before we go any further, if you post a public photo of a government official and his romantic partner, who he's not married to, a very important fact we'll talk about, you as a private citizen or a member of the press can be bankrupted, have your entire company shut down, or completely mocked, slandered, and dragged through lawfare because of what? Because of your First Amendment protected rights. Now, I believe that this lawsuit is not only an attack on our First Amendment and our constitutional rights given to us by God, but I believe this is also a violation of SLAPP ordinances. This seems to be a proxy lawsuit, if anything, from Kash Patel himself, and I have the evidence to prove it.
And Rob, he said wordless, so he just posted the photo. So he didn't even see, he didn't allege or say anything. Just the photo alone is going to get him a lawsuit. That's pretty wild, bro.
I mean, that you can do that, but it doesn't mean you're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the difference between some of these versus what BBC did, they manipulated and put a different word that he said.
Exactly.
CBS manipulated. This guy's given an opinion. I think sometimes you have to be careful with certain lawsuits. You know, in the last 30 years, do you know how many people we've sued in the last 30 years? How many people you think I've been involved in suing others in the last 30 years, since 26 years?
PHP, everything.
Everything I've ever done, how many people do you think I've been a part of suing?
5.
Tom, what do you think the number is?
I think probably about 15 people, because a couple of the suits involved multiple defendants. And it was one big suit where people were doing really bad things.
Now watch this. In the last 15 years, how many times have we been asked to sue people that we didn't sue?
Oh my gosh, it was weekly.
Hundreds.
It was weekly.
Oh, okay. Hundreds. So the point I'm trying to make to you is like,
I'm having a tough time in Albuquerque. Can you sue this guy?
This person said this. That person did this. This one. No. So you got to be selective in some of these things, because if you just go left and right, you're bringing more attention to it than anything else.
Of course.
Like, you know,
it's signal over noise.
Yeah,
That's why it's so important.
I'm so not a fan of it. But if you do steal and you do lie, like we have a handful we're going through right now, everybody needs to know what you did.
100%.
You need to be held accountable,
I agree.
no matter what. And, we're going through a process right now. But anyways, okay, so let's go to the next one here. Next one I want to get to is, which one should I go to? We got so many good ones here. Let's go to Michelle Obama.
Ooh,
Folks, watch this one here. Michelle Obama lashes out at white people. Folks, if you're white, earmuffs.
If you white, it ain't right.
You ain't gonna like what she has to say.
So this is a news flash?
And she's, anyways. She also talks about why she's not running for president. It's kind of your fault why she's not. But go ahead, Rob.
Explain something to white people.
Here we go.
Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all.
Oh.
It is exhausting, and it's so expensive, and it takes up so much time.
Oh.
Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law
I don't know
to
what she's
tell
saying.
white
What's she
folks
saying?
to get out of our hair?
What is she saying?
Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it.
Who's telling her how to wear her hair?
Don't touch it.
Nobody.
Rob, is this
Just
based on
don't.
something?
She's probably talking about Becky with the good hair that Jay-Z was dealing with Beyonce
this is
back in the day.
Michelle Obama. I'm a victim, and I'm complaining tour, and I am sick and tired. Have you heard one positive podcast, interview, whatever they're doing? Everything. She's one of the most powerful, influential women in the world. Okay, and you're pressured by white people to iron your hair. My sister irons. Like, first of all, irons are for shirts and pants. Keep it off your damn hair, okay? And I'm just tired. Her net worth is $70 million, okay? Martha's Vineyard mansion. She has Hawaii houses, $50 million Netflix deals. She flies on private jets. But America's this racist. You don't have to do nothing. Go Colin Kaepernick. Nobody gives a damn about your hair. You made it. You're the first lady. And just complaining and complaining. And back, her on top of Barack going around and complaining and scaring and fear-porning everybody and telling minorities, you have to vote for the minority because that's how we roll.
Here's her talking about why she's not running for president. Go ahead, Rob.
So thank you all for being there for us.
You stepped into a role that carried a preconceived idea of femininity and wifedom that was founded on the landmines of racism and misogyny. What the First Lady wears is one of the main ways, which you've already said, that a First Lady has talked about.
Marlene has
it comes
one of
with
those
so
lights.
much historical expectation. How do you feel about the fact that the First Lady is an archetype for wifedom and femininity?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Don't agree with that. It's it is a completely throwback on. It's a definition that has no current status in how women actually show up in the world today.
Do you think that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not.
It's so not
so don't
true.
waste my time.
Oh, here we go.
You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
No.
What was the question?
Yeah, you can pause.
So
Do you agree, Adam?
Listen, you use this term from time to time, and you say it's very unattractive. It's unattractive to me. It's unattractive. This to me is so unattractive, but it's great. I'm glad she's saying it out loud, because for years they've been tap dancing around whether Michelle Obama is going to run. You know, I've been saying there's no indication of it. Stop saying it. We've had our issues with this.
Yeah, whatever.
She has no interest in running, nor will she be a viable candidate. Because at one point, the Obamas were at least attempting to be a synergist and a unifier. I'm so glad that she's revealing what she stands for. And I totally respect that she's kind of like advocating for her tribe. We're all part of the American tribe, but then we have our sub-tribes. Whether you're black, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Assyrian, whether you're part of the LGBT, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, America comes first. And if you're actively trying to basically start a issue between blacks and whites, which we were doing so much better before Obama, and even some may say Trump has been a divisive, but I think the Obamas have actually been more divisive than Trump on this racial issue.
No, I agree with you 100%. She's richer than 99.99% of Americans that are black, white, tall, short, and you're going to lecture us about the systemic oppression and all that nonsense. And you know what? I don't want her as a president. Could you imagine her in the Situation Room? We have to launch a nuke, and they're like, "Where's Michelle?" They're like, "She's ironing her hair."
She's ironing her
for
hair.
white
That's
people.
true.
Sorry, we're gonna die. No, it's just that. I think look at her face. I'm talking about her looks. She looks miserable, and I blame Barack Obama.
I don't care about
I blame him.
Let me circle back, and I know
him.
Tom needs to answer this. Let me go back to the thing. She tried to say that Kamala didn't win because we weren't ready for a woman. Incorrect. America wasn't ready for that woman.
Or Hillary.
Candidate.
Cheating, liar,
that
Russia collusion.
That person, there's plenty of viable options out there. Thank goodness that we have Trump in office and not Kamala Harris.
Yeah. That victimhood, does that like every single time we have played a video of her, she has that look on her face like we owe her something, like she's suffering, like what more do you want from this country? What more do you want? What more do you want?
Sometimes the biggest sign of weakness is how you give yourself permission not to win. And you sit there and you explain all the reasons why, well, they're never going to let me. It's like you're giving yourself permission not to win, and wrap that in normal Democrat victimhood. I erase everything about that interview as if I was a blind person, and I don't see her hairstyle. I don't see her. I just listen to her words. And she is speaking from weakness, from victimhood, and giving herself permission not to win. So that's why this will never happen. So it's not about me.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is with what she's saying. Like, to me, if I look at this, I think she looks fine with all three of them.
I actually like the one a lot better.
I actually, she looks fine with the curly hair. I think that's great. And her choice is her choice. But a couple months ago, she was doing something with a podcast, and I said, why are you doing that? Go back to being fun. You were dancing. You were having fun. What are you doing? Going back to this, tirade of victimhood mentality is the most unattractive thing to have, but she seems to keep going back to it no matter what. All right, let's go to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith breaks silence over criticism that his political views are interfering with the $20 million a year ESPN role, okay? Interfering with his $20 million a year ESPN role. What are they talking about, okay? Let me read this to you. So the First Take co-signed a $100 million deal with the network earlier, but Smith has also become increasingly political, even floating a possible run for president. In addition to his work with ESPN, Smith is a prominent figure at SiriusXM, hosting a daily sports show and weekly political show, while he also hosts on his YouTube show. On Friday, Smith was asked whether he ever worries that his ESPN fans might be turned off by his political views, but the host said he believes that, in fact, his approach turns people on and is one of the reasons why his audience has grown. I don't worry about it because, first of all, it's politics, it's sports. Rob, do you have that clip? Or,
I'm looking for it.
Yep. See if it's on the Twitter. I'm trying to see where the story is at. Daily Mail. They probably would have that in that story as well. I don't bring it to ESPN. Thirdly, most importantly, I think it's important to remember that I'm a reasonable human being. What I do when I'm talking politics is what I do when I'm doing everything. I let you know how I feel and where I stand based on the facts that I presented to me, but I'm open-minded to be corrected, which means I'm willing to engage in dialogue, and I'm willing to talk with the other people, talk with people and hear what they have to say. Adam, your thoughts on this story?
I mean, Stephen A. Smith is one of the most necessary voices we have in America, and I love what he said here. He's reasonable. He's willing to engage with everybody, and if he's wrong, he'll say he's wrong. Now, Stephen A. Smith, a lot of this fodder is coming after he signed this massive contract, because we become friends with Stephen A. Smith. I got a massive respect for him. I feel like he bit his tongue for a while, as much as he could, even during political season, as that contract negotiations were playing out, which felt like years in the making. But do I think he's running for any form of government? 0%. That's my opinion. Could be wrong.
Zero is almost like saying 100%.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't think he's going to do this. I think he's a necessary voice in what he's doing. He's a sports guy first, but also recognizes that his voice carries a lot of weight. So he can glean in on politics. He can glean in on current events. He can talk about culture. He's got a very good ticker on what the American public stands for. And I'm a full advocate of saying what he has to say.
Vinny.
I listen, I'm going to be real. I used to be the biggest sports maniac, whatever. Like it's the dichotomy of something that's so, if you think about it in the scheme of life and the world, and sports is meaningless. It's like Duck, Duck, Goose with kids could be on ESPN. It's not going to change the outcome of the world. What he's doing on the political side, I actually love, because to me, he's had this like revelation. He's actually seen what's going on. He actually complained on his show. He invited everybody. He's like, he goes, the difference between Republicans and Democrats, every Republican I've invited on the show comes on the show. He goes, Chuck Schumer, I've invited how many times? He'd invited, Rob, do you have that clip where he says he's invited all these Democrats and none of them show? The one thing that bothered me is that the show is friends with Hakeem Jeffries, of all people. I don't know what you have in common with Hakeem Jeffries, but does this it, Rob?
Yep.
Look, Pat.
Invited on this show for 4 months.
Democrats.
AOC has been invited on this show for 4 months. Gavin Newsom has been invited on this show for longer than that. Props to Hakeem Jeffries. He's a friend of the show. Always welcome on here. I like that man. I respect him.
God knows why.
Chuck Schumer's been invited on this show. Hasn't shown up.
He's grilling cheeseburgers with no fire. Yeah.
Where they at?
Yeah, where they at?
You can pause it
None of them.
Rob. Tom,
That was
your
a long
thoughts.
pause right there.
Very long pause.
So Adam, pause. Go ahead.
Look, you know,
called menopause.
You know what I find really, what I find really interesting about Stephen A. is that when his contract was announced, he said this.
Yeah.
He said, I'm looking forward to doing a once a week more political show over on Sirius. And he had a little logo for the one on Sirius. He's got the little American flag with width. And so he's like, I'm going to be speaking to the middle. Now, the middle to some people is different than the others, but he said he was doing this. He said, ESPN has given me the opportunity to do the Sirius show on here and then to do the First Take show here. So why is this shocking? I'll tell you why it's shocking. Because there's some people that are probably texting him privately from the one side of the aisle that are lying, hey man, why do you give anybody a platform? Why do you give this guy a platform? Give this guy. It's the same thing that Pat gets when certain people sit in the chair. Hey, why are you giving a platform to that guy? Because
you think Pat gets those kind of messages? No way.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you.
No way.
If Stephen A.
We get
Smith,
those messages?
I'll say this. I like Stephen A., but I'll say this. If Stephen A. Smith got half of the level of vitriol and messages that Pat gets, I'm wondering if in the contract he would have asked for the carve-out to do a Friday show. You know what? Maybe I'll just do First Take the big contract and go, because this is pretty heavy. But I look at it this way. What he just said, I'm trying to invite everybody. And then there's still people saying, why would you say that? Are you running? Are you doing this? Wait a minute. I wanted to express myself.
Yeah.
As Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy shoes too, buy sneakers too. So Stephen A. Smith, I'll do a political show and I'll talk to everybody.
Hey, Tom, one thing
and suddenly this is a news flash and he's got to get
Tom, let me
excuses
echo
for
one thing. You're absolutely right. He said this, but more importantly, ESPN and Disney knew this ahead of time.
Of course they did.
You don't think
They
this came up in their contract negotiation? Hey, by the way, this YouTube show that you got going on, talking about politics, before you sign this contract, here are the rules of engagement. You got it. I guarantee you that's part of the contract.
And maybe it took this long because
and they said we are comfortable with this as long as you do this on your own channel and you don't bring politics to ESPN. The rules of engagement were already there.
And by the way, the haters are going to hate. He's like the Deion Sanders of this politics and the sports. He could play.
Talking about prime time.
I'm telling you right now, Stephen A. could go in on sports and then guess what? Take his hat, turn it, boom, and go politics. And he's nasty at both. And they're just going to hate.
But he does not know basketball more than PBD
than
and me.
Patrick
We know
David
that.
and Adam Sosnick.
We know that, PBD. Come on, can you reaffirm that, PBD?
Don't go there.
Stop it.
Let's not go
You
there.
ask me questions about basketball. Did you see what happened with Patrick Beverly? Did you see what happened?
He got arrested?
His underage 18-year-old daughter.
Is she under 18 or was she 18?
She was under 18.
Yeah.
Came home with another guy over 18, and apparently she beat the living crap out of him.
Oh, Beverly.
What do you mean?
Patrick
She beat
Beverly.
the
No. Former arrested for charges on Texas family violence. And 37 years old was arrested on Friday home in $40,000. Via Social Patrick, go a little bit lower. Y'all pray for the family. Love. Patrick Beverly has no criminal records. Given that, when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned. Younger sister, a minor. So he found. So he did what he did. Go a little bit low, Rob, to see anything else there.
Him downstairs.
Yeah, so Pat Beverly. By the way, every team needs a Pat Beverly. You need a Pat Beverly.
Guy.
It's the most.
He's a G.
Well, PBD, you back to Stephen A. You helped Stephen A. in this process. I want to say.
Listen,
he gave you credit.
He did give me credit, but he and I speak to a lot of guys when it comes down to contracts. Okay,
Brett Baer.
Yeah, no, but anyways,
sometimes on stage.
Yeah, but going back to this with Stephen A. To me, is look, he's at a phase of his life that he can't help himself talk about this stuff, and he wants to talk about it. And he does it in a respectful way. And I'm glad he's doing it. I support the fact that he's doing it. And ESPN knew going into it that he was doing it when they signed him. You guys already said this. So this leads me to something. Disney was losing $4 million a day on YouTube TV dispute. Do you know what $4 million a day is? $4 million a day is a $1.2 billion a year, give or take $1.5 billion a year. $4 million a day. Can you imagine that? That's real money that you're going through, right? So they're going back and forth. They're doing this dispute. Rob, is this the whole thing about them figuring it out?
Yep.
Go ahead, Rob.
Good news for sports fans. Disney and YouTube TV tonight reached a new deal to bring Disney-owned channels back to the Google-owned live streaming platform. Disney had pulled its channels October 30th in a dispute over how much YouTube TV would pay it to carry its networks. Under the new agreement, YouTube TV subscribers will have access to all ESPN networks, ABC, Disney-branded channels, Freeform, the FX networks, and the National Geographic channels at no extra cost. Wow. The new deal is also expected to give YouTube TV subscribers access to ESPN's newly released direct-to-consumer app.
Wow. So who won here, Tom? Who won here?
Neil Mohan absolutely posterized Disney, because now the YouTube TV subscribers, hey, it's all over. Disney's back on, and you can get this, and you can get this, and your YouTube TV price isn't going up. So either Mohan got it at an unbelievable discount and then decided, hey, it's such a discount, maybe we don't need to raise rates. We'll eat a little of it here, right? It's the same thing that you used to do when insurance companies would behave badly, right? We would say, hey, you know what? We'll take a little, they'll do a little, things like that. Health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking about life insurance and the old company. I'm talking about when we used to negotiate for health insurance. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they would give us, a slap in the head on premium, and we would try everything we could negotiate. And then we would say, you know what? We're not passing that on to the employees. We're going to eat that one. So Mohan may have done that. But I think what happened here is Disney just got posterized. They pulled everything off the air and they said, so there, you don't get our content. And YouTube was like, is that all you got? It's like you hit a guy in a bar and your fist bounces off his jaw and he just kind of looks at you and touches his jaw and you have 3 words, this gonna hurt in your head. Yeah. And that's what happened. And YouTube TV ends up, winning. The subscribers of YouTube TV don't pay more money and they get more stuff.
First of all, now, Tom, I don't know why you do this to yourself every time and you reveal unnecessary information to the public for the amount of bar fights you got in your life. Yeah. Never do that. Why do you tell that kind of stuff to people? Like
he'd wear a leather jacket.
They look at you right now as a good Christian father. Now it's like,
it was that whole deal.
No, it was not Bloods and Crips.
We're just glad that he's on our team now.
It was not Bloods and Crips. It was called Whites. He used to be part of
the Whites.
The Whites. The Whites. No. But
I pity the fool that would mess with me.
Yeah, but when you hear a story like this, you know what it comes down to? Bob Iger should resign. Bob, move on.
Bob Iger should resign?
He should resign.
That is a shocking
He should move on.
He just got brought back.
Yeah, he should have stayed away.
He should resign. Yep. Go away. Sit on the board. Wow. Done. Move on. That's $1 trillion company. That's a $200 billion company because of the operator and the board. Move on. Go to the next phase. Disney is another one of those companies that shouldn't be a $200 billion company. The amount of companies that they own and the flywheel that they have, how the hell is that not a $1 trillion company? You ever seen Disney's flywheel? Can you type in Disney's flywheel, Rob, and go to images? Go to, which is the one that we want. Go to that one. Zoom in a little bit. Look at this here.
Holy
Zoom in a little bit more, Rob. Go a little bit more. Go a little bit more. Look at their flywheel, what they own. I wish you could see what companies they own. People don't even have to People don't know 80% of the companies that they own.
Can't even see that far.
This is their flywheel, and they're not a $1 trillion company. They are such an undervalued asset, and the only reason they won't get to $1 trillion is because they got to change the board. They got to change the CEO ASAP, and it doesn't look like it's going to be happening because there were a couple guys that were fighting to get into the board, and they didn't support him. They kicked him out, and the board sided with Bob Iger, which was horrible for shareholders, and it wasn't good for the viewers. But a good day will come when Bob respectfully resigns. You've done a lot for this company. Kathleen Kennedy's done December 31st of this year. Bring a couple conservatives to your board. Yeah. Bring a couple conservatives to your board. I know you don't like it because you're all so woke. You just finally got rid of DEI bullshit that you were dealing with. Finally, you got rid of it. But oh my God, bring a couple conservatives to your board. By the way, do you know what's a big-ass announcement for Disney to make?
What's that?
How many board members do they have, Rob? Can you pull up, just type in Disney's board of directors. Yeah, board 9? Of directors. Watch this. Is it 9 or 11 or 7? What is it? Let's see. Is it can't be 10 because that's an even number. Mm-hmm. But, okay, let's say they got...
what's the number, Rob?
What I'd want to know is how many of those guys are conservatives? How many of Disney's board of directors, how many of Disney's board of directors are conservatives leaning? Okay.
I'm going to say none.
Oh, it's probably none. It's probably, and by the way, the conservative that they have would be like a rhino.
Yeah.
It's like the girl from The View. Okay, on where they would be. Like, how much money was given to Republicans? Yeah, okay. So the leadership at Disney, executive and board, $908 given to Republicans versus $2.8 million given to Democrats. So out of $3.7 million, what's 3.7? 2.8 divided by 3.7 is what?
3 to 1?
Is that what it says?
It's a little more than 3 to 1 because 9 times 3 would be 27, right?
Divided by 37 is 76%. 76% is liberal. Why don't you get it 60-40 liberal? Still control your political leanings that you want. No problem. But who do you think consumes your product? More liberals or conservatives? What do you think? Who's more pro-family? And your parks are getting their asses handed to them anyways. So why not bring a couple board members? We can have a 20-name list to give to you to consider to have it on. Why they don't do it, I have no idea. By the way, imagine if that announcement comes out. Say Disney makes an announcement. We have agreed to add the following 3 people to the board. How would conservatives react? Actually think about it. What would happen? You think
finally?
Yeah, you think you would be like, all right, so there's some reasonable voices in there.
I'll start supporting
Hey, Bob, we are pro-family. I grew up watching Disney cartoons in Iran in Farsi. That's how we watched it. Sleeping Beauty in Farsi. Okay? All the cartoons in Farsi. Pro-family people want Disney to go back to being normal again. And you simply don't want to do it yet. Hopefully you will. It's an undervalued asset that should be a $1 trillion company if it was operated by somebody else where they understood the family values. Family values. Not getting rid of DEI because BlackRock and the Glass and, all these ISIL, ISSI, these guys no longer require ESG scores like they did 5 years ago. You're a follower. You're not a leader. It's disappointing. It's a very disappointing story here with a great brand.
Simply removing emotion from this conversation. If you just do FTM, follow the money, Disney stock has sat in neutral for the last decade. If anything, it won't
change until he leaves.
They're negative 1% over the last decade. Their stock. So if you're just following the money and say this is a publicly traded company and our goal is to bring value to the shareholders, like every publicly traded company, and you're net negative over a decade, and your name is Disney,
Brian Nickel,
some people need to get fired.
Brian Nickel would take this thing to a $2 trillion valuation in 10 years. My opinion. Brian Nickel, which you're not going to get because he's at Starbucks, he would take this thing to a $2 trillion valuation within a decade. But you're not going to get him because Starbucks got him. And you know what happened when Starbucks got him? You know what Mamdani just said to do in New York? To boycott Starbucks.
Jeez.
Did you guys see that? Oh, he loves Cal. And by the way, New Yorkers, at first, people thought Hochul's not going to side with them on raising the taxes. Guess what Hochul just came out and said? She is open to raising taxes on New York corporations to fund socialist Mamdani's freebies. New Yorkers, you asked for it, you're about to get it. Hochul is agreeing to do it. Hochul is agreeing to do it. Reportedly open to raising taxes on in the Empire State to help fund Mamdani stuff. Hochul, who is up for election in 2026, sticking to her vow to not hit high earners with higher taxes, but has had preliminary conversations about raising revenues by upping the corporate tax rate. According to Politico, the hike would help fill the more than $4 billion budget gap facing the states next year, cover some of the costs associated with Mamdani's socialist dream in the Big Apple. Once he becomes mayor, Bloomberg reported the revelation comes after a Thursday meeting with Mamdani and Hochul, in which the pair discussed their shared goals of delivering universal child care. Raising the corporate tax rate will mark a notable shift for Hochul, who has repeatedly said that she would not raise taxes when pressed by the far-left faction of the party that helped propel Mamdani into office. Now she's open to the idea. And, Rob, I don't think we have a video on this, but, Tom, I'll come to you, and then I'm going to come to the Mamdani thing with Starbucks. Go ahead, Tom.
We'll make this really quick. Hochul needs voters. So there will not be taxes raised on the voters because even though it's the Mad Mamdani, wants to raise them on everybody, especially the wealthy.
Like his parents.
She doesn't want to raise anything on people so that there's no way that you can come after her. You raise taxes on people so that she can say, fast forward next August, I didn't raise taxes on any person in the state of New York. Not one individual taxpayer consumer received an increase under my administration in the last year since Mamdani was elected. She wants that. How does she do that? Tax the corporations.
Very smart.
And by the way, if New York runs short of money, where do they go first? D.C. or Albany?
Oh, Albany.
Correct. So if she touches corporate tax in the state of New York, puts a few dollars in the bucket that she's going to need because he's going to come to her for money. I think it's that simple what's going on right now.
Adam.
I mean, to me, it's pretty simple what's going on in the Democratic Party. There's the old Democratic establishment, and we saw a couple moderate, synergist, unifier type candidates win, I believe in Virginia, I want to say, a couple other elections. And then there's a big difference in Democratic establishment, Democratic Party, and the Democratic Socialist Party of America. This Democratic Socialist will be the nail in the coffin, I think, of the Democratic Party, because Bill Maher sort of pontificated about this, and he said it well. Yeah, Bill Maher basically said, you know who's going to end up being the great benefactor
You mind if we play the clip?
winning?
Can you play that clip?
The Republican Party.
Play that clip, Rob, of
Bill Maher. Bill Maher?
Yeah, Bill Maher yesterday. That's it right there. There you go.
South Korea at night from space. Here's socialist North Korea. Yeah. In 1990, Venezuela was wealthier than Poland. But then Poland, finally free of Soviet-style economics, went all in on capitalism. And now their economy is as big as Japan. And people there have high wages, low inflation, cars, vacations, homes. Meanwhile, Venezuela traded capitalism for Hugo Chavez's socialism for the 21st century, which turned out to be like socialism in the last century or any century, a fucking mess. It turned one of Latin America's richest countries into one of its poorest. Low wages, high inflation, shortages, outages, 8 million people fleeing. If you think New York can somehow reinvent this wheel, you're in for a rude awakening.
Great word.
Zoran can't make your wishes come true. You're thinking of Zoltar.
The movie big.
There you go. So Bill Maher, by the way, while this is going on, what does Mamdani say? Mamdani wants you to boycott Starbucks, okay, amid strike. Okay, here he is. Go ahead, Rob. Is this just, it's not him speaking, it's just
I
a
thought
clip?
it was, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no, it's all good.
They're not going to get between me and my cake pops.
That
I'm
song
telling you
was
right
pretty intense. Oh, there it is. Go ahead, Rob.
No, it's just
I won't be buying Starbucks. I won't be buying. Okay, let me read this to you on what he says. So, Mamdani encouraged his more than 1 million followers on X to boycott Starbucks. Starbucks workers across the country are on an unfair labor practices strike, fighting for a fair contract. The 34-year-old won on Thursday. While workers are on strike, I won't be buying any Starbucks, and I'm asking you to join us. Together, we can send a powerful message. No contract, no coffee. On the same day, Starbucks Workers United, a union representing workers at the coffee giant, announced it was going to, by the way, I'm just thinking about my latte. Mateo, bring it in. Jake, whoever's got it.
I didn't realize you were
An open-ended strike in what he is being dubbed the Red Cup Rebellion. As of today, Starbucks workers across the country are officially on strike. The union wrote on social media and were prepared for this to become the biggest and longest ULP strike in Starbucks history. No contract, no coffee is the hashtag. Thursday was also Starbucks Red Cup Day, during which customers can pick up a free reusable festival on Red Cup for holidays. J.C. Anderson, Starbucks Director of Global Communication, noted in comments on Fox News Digital, in terms of our annual reusable Red Cup Day, we actually had a great day. 99% of our coffee houses remained open and welcoming to customers and expected our sales expectations. Across company operate Greene coffee houses in North America, making it the best Red Cup Day ever. Red Cup Day is typically one of the company's busiest days. Tom, your thoughts on Mamdani here. Is this it, Rob?
This is from October, but this is when Mamdani was with the Starbucks workers, trying to get them to unionize.
Let's hear it.
About a CEO of a company who made $96 million just last year. $96 million, which is 6,666 times the median Starbucks worker salary. That's the kind of disparity that we are seeing here. And what these workers are asking for is the bare minimum. They are asking for a salary that they can actually live off of. They are asking for hours they can actually build their life around. They are asking for the violations of labor law to finally be resolved. And they deserve a city that has their back. And I am here to say that that is what New York City will be.
Todd, your thoughts?
Well, look, this is, as they say, this is a red meat speech. And a red meat speech is where you basically throw red meat to your followers and they cheer. That's the phrase that's used. So this is a really well-executed red meat speech around one of the absolute platforms, the key parts of the platform on the Democratic side, which has been unionization and union support in the election. That has long been a staple of Democrat politics. Things were a little bit, spicy during the election because there was unions and people that kind of leaned toward Trump. It was very interesting to see. And this is Mamdani doing nothing more than trying to go after the corporation and get people to unionize, and then you'll get all these things. But you know what? If we could find it, we can find it somewhere. There was one Starbucks that became so unruly outside with their anti-union protesting, and they had bothered the people so much that were trying to come in and use that Starbucks that Brian Nichols said, just close the store. Just close the store there. And so that's what's going on.
He said to just close the store.
It was last week, and I believe Brian Nichols said, hey, that store, if this is going to be the problem, just close the store. Because the store really apparently wasn't a performing store, and there was so much of this pro-union stuff going on that it got like a little, not rowdy, but it got to the point that people didn't want to get out of their car, come in and grab a coffee.
There's a part of you that wants to go out and fully listen. Where my optimism comes in is that Brian Nichols is there. I trust good operators. The other day, a guy asked me a question on one of the podcasts I was doing is, if you were to define yourself in one word, what would it be? Not family related, just purely with what you do with business. I said, I'm an operator, and I love operating. There's something exciting about operating. This last week being at CXO with companies ranging from 10 million a year upwards of $500 million revenue-sized companies. It was an incredible experience for 2 days going and talking about real challenges people face. But I'd like to see Brian Nichols reverse some weird things that Starbucks did back in 2022. Rob, can you go to that CNBC story in 2022? Within 100 miles that they were, did you know about this?
What?
If you, Starbucks was willing to fund your transportation for any employee that wanted to go through the gender-affirming surgeries in 2022, they were willing to pay for it. Watch this.
Pay for what?
Starbucks to cover employees' travel expenses for abortions and gender-affirming surgeries. Okay, so if you're going, thank you, Matteo. If you're going through a gender-affirming surgery May 16, 2022, they want to pay for that. So Starbucks said on Monday that they will start covering all the travel expenses for employees seeking abortions or gender-affirming procedures. A handful of companies are offering to reimburse companies related to abortions. Okay, and then on 154 anti-trans bills have been introduced in state legislature. So somebody may say, okay, the abortion you're going to do, you know, Howard Schultz is a guy who's on the center left. He's a libertarian, but he's a center leftist. He's not like he's a conservative. Fine. Gender-affirming? You want to fund that? Really? A little weird, man. So I hope Nichols brings a little bit of common sense and avoids the politics and just runs a business. But with Mamdani in New York, this is what you voted for. And he's coming. It's coming. Corporate taxes are going to be increasing based on what our friend Mamdani, not our friend, our guy here in New York, Mamdani,
not a friend
is
of ours,
talking about.
You know, it's really interesting. Once upon a time, I used to stop every morning for a venti non-fat latte, no whip. And I calculated 3 years in a row that I said, I wonder how many of these I've had, because I had the Starbucks card and I also had the thing on my phone. I could just do it. And I saw that I was buying 200 of those a year, like 50 weeks, 4 of them a week, sometimes 5. I was buying 200 of them a year. Do you know how much I bought the last 2 years?
What's that?
0. I stopped going to Starbucks. So I'm rooting for Brian Nichols, but I'm also rooting for him in a way. I'd like to come back, but keep working on it, because I don't feel, I know some of us go, some of us don't, but I still don't feel it yet. So.
Guys, we're taking donations. Times are tough. Tom used to drink coffee left and right at Starbucks, and, you know, the economy.
I mean, and can I say one thing?
We're going to get you back on track.
I'm not making this up. I'm being literal. As a consumer, I said, no, thank you.
And just, I know.
By the way, I'll give Starbucks credit. and this is coming from a Jewish guy. I was at the Starbucks, and
here
it
we
was.
go.
Wait, you're Jewish?
Yes, yes. I don't know if you heard. And proud,
Lifetime
by the way.
supply of coffee
Proud.
from APAC.
Here we
Every
go.
week he gets
Here we
his check.
go.
A pack of coffee.
Nah, Iron Dome coffee. Shout out. But Starbucks had Christmas galore. Christmas everywhere. They had Christmas cups. It wasn't Happy Holidays.
love
it was
it.
Merry Christmas. So
I
there was
love
there
it.
was no Hanukkah cups.
They do the Christmas
However,
stuff.
they're doing stuff. I don't know if it's Brian Nichols. I don't know what it is. They're doing Christmas.
Adam,
again
what's
at
the
Starbucks.
likelihood between now and the last day of your life that you will one day become a Christian? What's the likelihood?
Honestly.
Be honest.
I know how you don't say like 100%. That I'm gonna stay what I am, but I will say I respect my Jewish brother, Jesus Christ. He was a great guy. He was Jewish. He lived and died as a Jew. But I love my Jewish, my
okay.
Christian family,
All right.
Syrian family.
All right. All
not
right.
not sure what's going
And
on.
until then,
the
I'd like a
woke
grande,
right.
grande
Exactly.
matzo latte.
We're not done. We're not done with that.
Listen,
we're working on
we're the
Adam.
original. You're the new version. It's cool, bro.
It's all
Just-
good.
we're the same people.
I've been going to Starbucks. I actually go in there because I want to experience and talk
Yeah,
to people. And
yeah,
I love this
yeah.
because in LA, you know where Universal was? I'd go to that Starbucks
Yeah.
and I'd see everybody.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock. It was like the who's who. If you've been in the Starbucks
That's an old name I haven't heard
recently,
in a while.
bro, she was gorgeous. Recently, me and Tico went the other day before we were gonna come see you guys here, and just walk into the normal anywhere Starbucks. Doesn't matter if you're in Florida or LA. The majority of people have green hair. They, them.
Maybe
name
it's
tags.
not ripe.
No,
Still.
it's just they're one guy had the LGBTQ rainbow shirt on. It wasn't even LGBTQ month, but it's like they're hiring some pretty far out there
Starbucks?
people. Go in there today. We'll go there. We'll go.
There seems to be an affinity between coffee and wokeness.
It's weird.
They
Woke,
they
get
like
woke,
that brew.
coffee, awake. I don't know
what it is.
I don't
This
know.
is why things like
I'm gonna get a cake pop
But
after this.
PBD, what's the chances that
Amazing
Patrick
cake pops.
Bet David is going to be Patrick Ben David, and there's a similarity there? I don't know. People ask. I don't think it's happening.
That's a good question. I think that is zero.
So
But-
PBD, I'd like
Yeah.
to publicly announce our partnership. You stay Christian, I'll stay Jewish, and we're going to keep the
but-
good times rolling.
But I think.
I could get out.
Mira,
We
I
think we could do a little. We think we could do a little juice for
Everybody's
Jesus Day?
changing their name.
I'm open, guys.
Pretty soon it's Adam Bendover.
That's a guys. That's a what joke from Tom, guys.
Okay, all right,
That's the
let's-
best he's got. We love it.
Freaking Thomas.
He had to
Thomas
do it.
Can't help himself. No, he can't help
It's
himself.
true.
By the way, can I give you guys an update what happened with that police thing I went to last week?
Yes, please. There was some drama with that.
Yeah, there was some drama. What was the event called? It was called the Law Enforcement Organization, and I call it Law Enforcement Today. Yes, and I ended up getting I called out a guy named Matthew Silverman. Rob, if you want to put up his picture, I called out a guy named Matthew Silverman heavily. Didn't hold back. Didn't like the way he handled the phone call whatsoever. And after we had the call, after we did the podcast last week, he wrote a 2-page letter apologizing for what happened last week. And I just want to publicly say I respect the fact that he did that, the letter that was sent. And then I got a call from the guy that runs the whole thing. Guy's name is Kyle. And Kyle, I want to say the organization's name correctly, Rob. Kyle, who runs the law enforcement today, he called me. We had a 15-minute call with him. And I have to tell you, I was so impressed. I was so impressed with the way he handled the call. It was me and Mateo. When we were on the call together, he says, look, I don't do these events professionally myself. I'm just trying to put it together. And I don't know if, he was so prepared in everything he said with his speeches. But he got on the call. He says, there's nothing I can say. I'm not asking for anything. I just want to say, what can we do? We royally screwed up. I went back to my room that night. My wife said, what a great event you put together. And I said, babe, I feel like shit because of what happened, all this stuff. And they had to pay $15,000 over for overtime that came out of his own pocket. But this is where I'm at. I told you last week I'm all about respect, and I respect the fact that Matthew Silverman, the president, called me, and I respect the hell out of the way Kyle handled the phone call. And Kyle, after you telling me that it cost you guys $15,000, I want to say here today you don't even know about this. I'm going to make the difference, and I'm going to send you $15,000 for us to pay for your, the added overtime that you had to pay to the workers at Mar-a-Lago. I know how hard it is to run events. What I value the most, 4 things. Lead, respect, improve, love. Respect is very important to me. You gave it to me. I respect it back. $15,000 will be sent to your charity sometime today for you guys to make that phone call.
Nice.
I was so impressed by Kyle. So impressed
Really?
by the way Kyle handled them. They posted a video, all this other stuff, what they had prepared to share, but it was getting late. We don't need to share the video. It's just the fact that they shared it is out there online. That's that goes respect back to what they did. So just want to make sure I did that with them. Mateo, please go to Casey and let's send that $15,000 over to
Can
them.
I ask you something, sir?
Yeah, of course.
You were, I don't want to put words in your mouth, upset, annoyed, disappointed, disgusted?
I value my time with my kids. Never take that away from me and waste my time. Don't ever do that, especially when I schedule something months in advance. It's that simple for me. You take that away because of my schedule the way it is, I don't like it. So, but it's been done. They made the phone call, and I respect it.
But that's my point, is that during this time of chaos, when they could have doubled down, how dare you say that? They gave a mea culpa, they apologized, and you said, we're
Done.
good.
Yeah, we move on.
And I respect the hell out of that.
Absolutely.
When you're wrong,
Yep. No,
admit
listen,
you're wrong and
it
move on.
happens. Everybody does it. And as long as you're able to do it, it's a very easy thing to move on with. Okay. So that was quick. Let's go to the next thing here. Next story I want to get into is, do we want to get into tariffs or do we want to get into, do we want to go into Tucker and what Trump said about, actually, let's go to Tucker claiming FBI. Let's go to this one here. Tucker claims FBI hid details on Trump shooter Thomas Crooks. He said FBI clearly knew, Rob. I think you got a clip on this one here. Is this the one? Go for it, Rob.
These remarks were especially notable because they came at the final phase of Crooks's YouTube commenting. At that point, a new character emerged into the conversation, a user named Willie Tepes, who started pressuring Crooks to commit violence. For example, quote, "If a gun and a badge is all that is needed, then authority obviously comes from the barrel of a gun. We have more guns than they do. There is no way we can avoid a war at this point, so you better just get used to the idea. We have nothing to lose and everything to win. And the alternative, a global police state, is unacceptable. Nothing in life is simple, but that is no argument against doing it." So who is this Willie Tepes? Unfortunately, we don't know. The FBI hasn't made any mention of him in public, although they certainly know he exists. Just days after the shooting, somebody screenshotted Tepes' YouTube account page, despite the fact he had very few followers. To the extent that he can be traced online now, you can find his username being used on a foreign Antifa website. Those sites link him to the Nordic Resistance Movement, which has been designated a terrorist group by the U.S. State Department. That's all we know. We do know, however, that Crooks' online footprint abruptly ends after his encounter with this mysterious figure, Willie Tepes. Regardless of whoever Willie Tepes is or was and what his motives may have been, who he may have been working for, there is no doubt that Crooks was ripe for recruitment by someone. From early 2019 to mid-2020, as his political views were evolving, Crooks searched for Trump more than 700 times online. He also searched for Jack Ruby, the man who assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald. He then submitted queries for craziest chemical reactions, cars running over protesters, best places for mass shooting El Paso, Trump Civil War, Orlando shooting reaction, firing an AR-15 as fast as possible, fertilizer bomb, how to make napalm, how to make a Molotov cocktail, mass shooting Canada, Oklahoma bombing, and sniper in Dallas shooting. He also searched for American Nazi Party, German National Anthem 1933-1945, Hitler's speeches with subtitles, neo-Nazis, and, quote, why gays need to go. So here you have a volatile, troubled, possibly mentally ill young man with a long record of espousing violence in public.
Okay, so that's Tucker. Kash Patel responds. And he says, shared details Friday about the Bureau's investigation of Thomas Crooks after Tucker Carlson's alleged Trump's would-be assassin left digital warning signs that he was planning on an attack. The former Fox News host accused an FBI of lying of Thomas Crooks. The investigation conducted by over 480 FBI employees reveals Crook had limited online and in-person interactions, planned and conducted the attack alone, and did not leak or share his intent to engage in the attack alone, Patel wrote on X, providing an overview of the case. As part of the investigation, the FBI director said the Bureau conducted over 1,000 interviews, addressed over 2,000 public tips, analyzed data extracted from 13 seized digital devices, reviewed nearly 500,000 digital files, collected, processed, and synchronized hundreds of hours of video footages, and analyzed dirty activity from 10 different accounts and examined data associated with 25 social media or online forum accounts. Tom, Vinny, your thoughts on this story?
I mean, It's just weird that we didn't hear nothing from the FBI, and then all of a sudden Tucker Carlson, of all people, finds out that this guy did have a social media presence. I said one thing once online, Pat, and I got flagged. They sent me something. They banned me. They did all. So this guy's out there talking about and searching for murder, assassination, chemical stuff, and he just kind of went through the cracks. And it's just kind of weird. He got radicalized. Okay, this Thomas Crooks. His social media presence, nobody could find except Tucker Carlson. After the assassination, they not only sprayed the roof where he was with all the DNA and all this stuff, they wiped his apartment. Somebody wiped his apartment completely clean. No silverware. They took everything out of his apartment. And it's weird, like the pattern that we're finding, Tommy, from all these people. They find weak-minded individuals. They radicalize them. They have them do this thing, and then they're the lone wolf, the lone shooter, and then they're now this new trend of they're furries. Notice how the trend of furry, trans, Thomas Crooks, Tyler Robinson, it's all a part of a plan, Pat. And I looked up MK Ultra. People tend to forget the CIA, our government, without experimenting on people without consent, use drugs, use psychiatrists to make people go do things that they didn't want to do. And then when they came out of it, they had no idea what they were doing. It's almost like that scopolamine, the devil's breath drug from Colombia that if you blow it in somebody's, did you see the documentary on Vice? There's a drug, and Rob, you could look it up, Pat. It's called the devil's breath, scopolamine. Oof. You take this white little powder, you just blow it in somebody's face or put it in their drink. Their free will is gone, meaning you do whatever they want you to do, and the next day you don't remember everything. One girl on the Vice documentary, she goes, somebody put something in my drink. I brought them into my apartment. My door guy was like, who are these people? She's like, don't worry about it. We're totally fine. Stole everything out of her apartment, her knowingly, like she was awake but didn't realize it. And the next day she had no recollection. If the government was doing this in the 70s for all this time, you don't think they've perfected it this time? I think something at that level with Thomas Crooks, Pat, the same people, the deep state that were behind destroying Trump with money, lawfare, impeachment, those are the same people that I believe could be behind radicalizing somebody like that to go on a roof. And then on top of it, the Secret Service head, Kim Cheadle, is like, yeah, no, everything failed, but God got in the way and saved Trump's life, Pat. I think it's crazy that Tucker, of all people, more than the FBI, did more research and discovered more than a three-letter agency can.
Yeah, and Tom, I know this is something you wanted to talk about, so I know you have some thoughts on this here. Where are you at with this?
So here's where I'm at. So go back really, really quickly to the London subway bombing. Mm-hmm. They found out which clerics had been socializing with which young men, and they said these radical clerics, do you remember this, Adam? These radical clerics in north of London had gotten these into the minds of these kids to go perpetrate what is now known as the London subway bombings. The amount of information that was available on the clerics, what mosque they were at, when they came to the country, where they were from, who they associated with, it was massive. And this goes back 15 years, 20 years now, to the point where, the 24-hour news cycle was even shorter back then. And so now the fact that there's so little we know, and then you've got Cash saying he acted alone, we've conducted the info, and there haven't been any leaks. The odds of this stuff not leaking is low because there's so many people that are in the bureaus that don't like Trump. And so why isn't the stuff leaking? Why is it so simple? Why is it so cut and dry? And there's two options, Pat. Number one, it's exactly as Cash says. And I put the odds of that at like 10%. And number two, they are actively working with people and they're trying to get through it, but they're trying to work through corrupt agencies. And if they're trying to work through corrupt agencies, then they're going to say one thing in public and try to clean it up separately. But I don't get, and we've had conversations with people in the Trump administration. Pat has, I have, many of us in this room, and some very close-in people who have said they don't trust the agencies and they don't trust the stories we're hearing. So we know that there's been some level of investigation or trying to uncover all this behind the scenes. But it's just the fact that we know so little about this, and the roof was scrubbed, the apartment was scrubbed. Those are the three things that I hate.
Speculate.
The deep state was involved trying to take out Trump.
I think so.
And because I just have three things that bother me.
But by the way, when you say, so who is the deep state?
The deep state,
at the time, who was the deep state?
Deep state at the time would have been NSA, FBI. Those are the keys in the U.S. And then, of course, you've got the agency.
Because remember, when people are saying, they say stuff about Cash, Cash wasn't at the time.
He wasn't in at the time.
Okay, so it's not like this is a Cash thing because he's not in. However, if the deep state knew, do they have enough time to get rid of evidence between then and Cash getting in or no?
Oh, yes. They've got ways to do it. There was, as they say about the deep state, sometimes there's no evidence in the first place because as they do things, they're immediately, sanitizing and being very careful about how they do it. So there isn't like a memo to Congress asking for appropriations to assassinate Trump. And it's nothing like that's going to show up.
And I know it sounds wild, but if you really break it down, like the same people, the Russia collusion, all the Brennan, all those people, some of them that we don't even know that were just layered in there. It's not that hard to go, okay, where is he going to be? Butler. Okay, I think they have their assets that they're just like, okay, this is the day that we're going to tell them to go and do it, and then we're going to scrub the apartment. We're going to spray everything down. Kim Cheadle, all you have to do is act like, the security failed, even though he was clearly on the roof. People were yelling, Pat. There's videos where people are like, he's up there. The guy's got a gun. And it's almost as if everybody was told, hey, look over there. Look over there. And I think the deep state, like, for instance, Russia collusion. When I had an FBI agent that came to one of our events. He's been to multiple events. Awesome guy. He always came to me and had a one-on-one. He's like trying to prove his, prove his case. Like, Vinny, it's not everybody in the FBI. And I go, dude, I understand that there's good FBI agents. There's good, there's good CIA. There's people that are actually trying. But I go, what about the rogue people that have huge influence and huge power? It doesn't take that much. If you just looked at the Russia collusion case, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andy McCabe, James Comey, everybody behind the DNC, Hillary Clinton, all colluding to make up the story and sell it to the American people. They even got FISA warrants. So if they could do that at that level,
information kept coming out. More information kept coming out. This is one where everything stops.
Yeah.
For me, it comes down to three things. The limited amount of information that's come out, the immediately sanitized apartment, and they wash the roof. I just look at a few things and say, man, that's all I need to be really skeptical for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of what happened with that is fishy. There's a lot of happened with Charlie Kirk that is fishy. All these questions should be asked. All these answers hopefully should be given. At the same time, the FBI, whether it's Secret Service, well, whoever it is, two things can't be true at once. Either it's a inside job and the deep state is involved, and this guy was sort of manufactured and put there on the roof and given a pass, or somehow your officials let this geeky, nerdy, 20-year-old, furry-loving kid bypass all elements of security, get on the roof, and when people are saying he's on the roof, do nothing? So which one is it?
Well, which one do you believe?
Did you actually... The point is, what do you call it? Hellman's razor? What do you call it?
Hellman's
What's
razor?
the whole thing?
Hanlon's
razor. Sometimes you can't, what's the definition of it? Never attribute malice, which is adequately explained by stupidity.
Or a mistake.
A lot of this is just people messing up. I thought you had it. I thought the roof. A lot of this does not add up. But here's the challenge right here. Like, who do I trust more over Kash Patel, the acting director of the FBI, or Tucker Carlson just asking questions? Give me Kash Patel all day, every day. At the same time,
but why do you say that? What has he done
Kash
to prove
Patel,
to get your loyalty and your no? But Adam, that's the same guy that said Epstein. Have you seen the release?
Everything to me, is a score. Okay, cool. All right, you did this, I did that. All right, your credibility score. Okay. For me, Tucker's credibility score is very low right now.
And why is that?
I just think I think he plays dumb. I think he's a gaslighter. I think he's the gaslighter in chief of America. I think he kind of pretends he's this sort of, I'm just asking questions. I don't know nothing about nothing. Yet at the same time, his father was the CIA. At the same time, he's the only person in human history to have a headline show on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, as if he's not part of the establishment. To me, he doesn't have a lot of credibility.
Well,
he has every right to ask questions. What has Kash done other than not appease your Epstein interests to lose trust with the credibility with the American people? To me, he has a lot of trust and credibility.
But not my Epstein thing, Adam. Like Pat said, he wasn't in during that. But what I'm saying is, when you just hear Kash Patel, or Adam, the organization, the FBI, the CIA, they have lied to us over and over and over again.
So we can never believe them, is what you're saying.
I didn't say
Ever.
never. But Adam, you have to question.
Did I not start the whole premise that we should question everything?
Tucker, hold on. How did Tucker, the guy that you think is this huge gaslighter, how did he get more information on Thomas Crooks than the FBI?
He didn't. He didn't get more information.
What do you mean he didn't?
Here's
He found out his
what the
social media
FBI said.
presence.
We've conducted 1,000 interviews, addressed over 2,000 public tips, analyzed data, seized by 16 digital devices, reviewed 500,000 digital files, collected, processed, synchronized hundreds of video footage, analyzed financial activity. Tucker did a half-hour segment, and you're giving a false equivalency of what the FBI did and what Tucker did, asking questions?
Adam, the FBI
to me, it's
said he had no
nonsensical.
social media presence at all. Tucker was showing 5 minutes of video of him dry firing guns, recording himself. How did Tucker find that, Adam? And by the way,
the FBI has said Thomas Crooks never has said that he had no online footprint ever. The FBI has never said Thomas Crooks had no online footprint ever. This is from the FBI.
That got fact checked by Grok.
Okay,
Adam,
what did it say?
Right here.
What did it say?
check.
That down at the bottom, FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate went on to describe a general absence of other information to date from social media regarding Thomas Crooks.
So
what does that mean exactly?
That they didn't have a digital footprint.
He didn't have a digital footprint. And Adam, and I get your point,
So
bro.
this guy has some explaining to do.
Yeah, no, Adam. And
Paul Abate,
Adam, and I understand
who I've
that
never heard of,
the same FBI
has
that
some
you're
explaining
talking
to
about,
do.
the same FBI that you're talking about, told us to.
And by the way, when did he say that?
This was July 30th of 2024, so 17 days after the assassination.
Okay. So before they did the entire due diligence. So maybe he spoke too soon. He should retract that statement, or he should say, "At the current sequencing, we do not have much information." But a year plus later, they should probably retract that.
My point is
which they did.
The same FBI.
So
that went after,
I just want to understand one thing: are you saying that you trust Tucker's
trust
segment more than the FBI? More. Who do you trust more?
No,
the
what do you mean
FBI
by
and
trust?
Cash
No.
or Tucker?
I just think it's interesting what Tucker reported on. That's
I
a
do
lot
too.
of questions that they need to answer.
I do too. I advocate for Tucker doing his thing. That doesn't mean I trust what he did.
We want to move on, but if there's Adam, all I'm saying is, Adam, FBI, you trust Cash Patel because he's in charge of the FBI.
I trust him
I would
more
never
than
trust
Tucker.
the FBI or the CIA because the people, Adam, whoever's on the top, look at the layers of the people. Like what the
I'm
Russian
asking you a
collusion.
simple
I don't trust
question.
any of them. You can't trust them.
So
Sorry.
so everyone's at 0% trust?
Not 0%, but
so
they
who do you
lost
trust
credibility.
more, Tucker
Adam,
or Cash?
I don't trust equally the same. I don't trust anybody. But
Okay.
here's my
Well,
question
then
to you.
we're gonna differ
this
there.
is the
I
same
trust Cash
FBI
more.
that said they had tens of thousands of hours of Jeffrey Epstein with underage girls. What happened to it? It's gone. They lied. Move on.
Who's
Bye.
they?
Cash Patel and Jan Bongino, their whole thing for months before where I'm going to do this, I know this, I talked to this person, and the moment they got in at him, everything changed. That's all I'm saying. Everything changed. Everything. And
Where
the
you at
world
with
knows
this,
it.
PBD?
I think Cash has fumbled a couple times. I think Tucker obviously doesn't trust Cash.
Yeah.
And he's trying to expose maybe some of the information that hasn't been revealed. I think Cash has access to more information than Tucker does. There's no question about it there. But you also have to realize you don't think Tucker has people that are in the CIA or FBI or different places that are also probably giving him information over the years? Probably.
Yeah.
If your father was a CIA agent or he worked with the CIA, you don't think he shared some strategies with you over the years on what happened? I don't know. I think there's something there.
It's some connections, Pat. Like,
I
so
think,
here's my friends. Save their phone numbers.
But I also don't. You think Cash is turned against Trump?
No.
You think Cash is
No.
concealing information from Trump? You think Cash was involved? No, you're not saying that.
No.
But it's good that Tucker's doing that we're showing it because those are the things he searched. I would want to know that. 6 months ago, if you guys remember, 5 months ago, I said this, I think, on Jesse Waters when I said it's the biggest fumble on whenever.
I remember that.
Whatever the day was when I said the biggest fumble. I don't know when that was. I said, I still don't know what happened with Thomas Crooks.
Yeah.
If you remember that.
It
I'm
was
like,
Jesse.
why don't you tell us what I mean, we're trying to find out what happened here, but we don't even know what happened with Crooks. Can't you tell us what happened with Crooks? I don't know the date on that, but that was probably 5-6 months ago.
No, that was right
Okay,
before
gotcha.
this was Epstein.
Well, don't you think Trump, more than anybody, would like to find out
But
what
he-
happened
yeah.
with the guy that shot me in
And
the
it
ear?
doesn't look like he was. He was like, he kind of, he was
but
amazing.
But then you're assuming that
but-
Trump doesn't care who shot him in the
No,
face?
But
I'll show you an interview where he
Are
doesn't
you kidding
sound like
me?
it.
No, but let me tell you what I would go with that, Vinny. If let's just say Trump acts like he's not interested on who killed him, right? Okay, so speculate that. What do you think that is?
I don't know, because his mission is more forward on the country.
You think Trump,
deceptive.
You think Trump doesn't want to get even with people that screwed him over?
1,000%.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so,
no, okay. No, but hold
so
on.
there
hold
you
on.
go.
I'll have him
May
show
I?
you. Yeah,
Sure,
let
sure.
him.
Okay. So do you not think Trump, knows? But for example, the other day we had a guy that was here that came with a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
Have you heard me talk about it on the podcast?
Nope.
No, I just did right now. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is,
Now
but do you know why though? Like a point of it is like you kind of just want to move on.
Yeah.
And then you do what you got to do, but you don't want to be publicly so.
Yeah.
But you can't automatically assume that there's not things that are being behind closed doors.
I agree.
But to me, I don't know. I think Trump maybe learned something, knew something, is working on something, acting like he's not interested. You either like the guy's approach or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say you like his approach on these 7 things, but not like it on these 4 different things. If he negotiates in a certain way, he's probably applying some of the same principles here as well. Yeah. So you can't pick and choose and say you don't like the approach. You can disagree with, like, for example, he called Thomas Massie a loser he says his wife's going to find that he's a total loser, right?
The new
Here
wife.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that if you're in office?
No.
Would Tom say that?
No.
Would Adam say that?
Maybe.
but the point is this. Guess what? You may say you don't like the way he talks like that. How long has he been talking like that?
Forever.
Since he was 6 years old, he's probably talking like that, right?
Certainly since he came down the escalator.
But the approach on how he's going about things methodically, you can't assume he's like, Trump doesn't know nothing. I think there's something going on there that the rest of us don't know. But I want to share with you a clip here from DeSantis on what's going on in the state of Florida.
I miss him.
Okay, yeah. Here's a clip from DeSantis talking about what's going on in Georgia and how America's being soft on a couple areas here. And I actually fully agree with them. Go ahead, Rob, if you want to play this clip.
But you have some strain on the right that says, illegal immigration is bad. Legal immigration, no matter what, is good. And wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying any of it's that it's all bad or what, but is bringing 10 million people from like Somalia and dumping them into Georgia, is that good because it's legal? I think you have to think critically about what are we doing with an immigration policy, and is it benefiting the American people? Is it helping to promote a strong American culture? We should never bring people into this country who hate America.
I agree.
And when
Common sense.
I agree.
And when I look at like Mindami's dad and listen to the stuff he's saying about America being the story, I'm like, why would we have wanted somebody like that to come? I mean, especially if you think America is so bad. So we have to be smart. It's lazy thinking to say anything that's legal must necessarily be good. Some of these companies game these systems with bringing cheap labor. So there's a whole host of things, but don't do what Europe did. Europe did a mass migration that was legal, that was intentional, and it's proven to be disastrous. So as conservatives, we must think more critically. And the final thing that conservatives have to wrestle with is the proper approach to artificial intelligence. If you look at what's going on, it's a handful of very big companies that are driving most of this.
Okay, so while he's talking about that, okay, and by the way, how do you feel about what he just said right there?
I love it.
I don't think anybody's going to say that.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's at the Omni Hotel in New Haven, and that's a Yale banner back there. So apparently he's speaking to probably a pretty liberal audience up there, but he got applause.
He did get applause.
Could be a conservative graduates of Yale, could be more the on-campus conservative crew that they have that maybe he's speaking to.
Well, there's 11 of those. It sounded like more people applaud.
Yeah, it does. You're right. But all I'm saying is that could be the case as well. But go ahead, Adam.
No, I'm just good to see DeSantis doing his thing. Listen, I don't think there's a better governor in the country than DeSantis. I don't know if there's going to be more political aspirations. I know that we're speculating on 2028, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. Don't forget, DeSantis is seasoned. I don't know if he's going to throw his hat in the ring, and it's too early to speculate. But if he ramps up his personality and understands the social media game more, maybe accepts a pair of shoes as a gift. I don't know if that's legal or not. DeSantis is a formidable competitor. And everything that he said about loving America, I mean, that is step one. You know, what does it say in the statute? Libby, give me your tired, give us your tired,
your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
And sure, give us those people if they love America. If they're not going to be able to contribute to America in whatever capacity, at the very least, love America. Don't come here and start hating on America. It's unacceptable. No other country could stand for something like that. That's where I'm at with what DeSantis had to say.
Yeah, I like what DeSantis had to say there. I think, you know, he is a guy, if he's running your state, you feel safe. You hope the same thing continues with Florida, and the traditions and the culture that's been created here continues, because the threat now is what's going on with New York. Assume a lot of people from New York are going to come here. You want to make sure that things don't change with the way it is right now, because it can one day. All right, so the disturbing rise of AI-generated deportation videos. Rob, do you have this one here?
I do.
So here's New York Post. AI-generated deportation videos. That's out there. And then, Vinny, I'm going to come to you first, and then Tom, we'll wrap up. Go ahead, Rob.
Baby, let me go!
This is all AI-generated.
Stop resisting. Keep moving. You can't take me from her, please. She's right there. Don't do this. She's just a baby.
Get her in the vehicle. Videos on social show intense dramatic scenes of federal agents detaining migrants, many of which are racking up hundreds of thousands of views each. The catch? They're fake and made by AI. The latest in the scary trend of videos created by artificial intelligence can be prominently seen on the Facebook account USA Journey 897. The account, which was flagged by independent researcher Chad Loader to 404 Media, a journalist-founded organization focusing on digital media, features dozens of AI-generated videos of the same theme. Many of the AI videos posted by the page show workers at prominent U.S. chains like McDonald's or Walmart being ushered into vans by federal agents as they plead to see their kids. Others show mothers and fathers being emotionally ripped away from their weeping children as officers coldly instruct the parents to put their hands behind their back. The videos, which are garnering tens, even hundreds of thousands of views, do not bear an AI watermark, but all display the same superimposed text, reading deportation, along with emojis and a pair of American flags. While some of the videos note in their captions that they are created by AI for, quote, entertainment and creative purposes only, many do not, leaving viewers who don't know any better to discern their validity for themselves.
Rob, I sent you the link really fast. You can log in. And Pat, I just went to go to USA Journey 897 on Facebook. Yes, the front of the page has a disclaimer. Look what it says on the front of the page.
Now,
but, or just in general, like when you see a video, when you're just scrolling through and you're just seeing on your reels or whatever you want to call them on Facebook, nobody's going to the home page to check his followers and this. I'm curious to who is actually behind this, Tom, because if you think
I want to know when they put the disclaimer up.
That's a very good question as well. But
go back in the Wayback Machine and see when they altered it to be straight up, because it only takes a little bit of a news.
Yesterday, what was that say? Yesterday, 12:44 a.m. Disclaimer: this video is created using artificial AI intelligence. I'm pretty sure they know that once this story's coming up.
Gee, were they getting heat from people that figured out the BS?
That's what I'm saying. And this is the craziest part. Before I even heard about the story, I've seen one of these before. Somebody sent this to me as kind of like a, hey, look at your president. Look what your president is doing. And I looked on it and I went to here and I was like, oh, it's fake. But I didn't even respond to the person. But this is a very, very dangerous thing because, I mean, Meta has already had a problem with all the stuff that they did, Tom, with the content that the younger kids are going to be doing. They need to put something.
163,000 followers?
That's very, very scary. That's very scary because this is what's causing that mindset of what Trump and them are doing, are Gestapo, are Nazis, and all that stuff. I think AI, Pat, there needs to be something. I hope they're working on it to put it on there that as the person seeing it, it's letting you know nobody's going to the disclaimer, nobody's going to the person's page. This is a very, very dangerous thing that's happening right now.
It takes a stroke of the pen to say that to all look. Cigarette companies took a stroke of the pen. You have to put one of these 5 messages on your pack of cigarettes.
Warning.
Right? Warning. And it's a stroke of the pen. And the stroke of the pen was after a lot of wrangling in court, but finally it was one single law that said, listen, cigarettes have to say this. All Congress and the president have to do is work together and have the AI disclosure law that says your AI engines may not be used to make videos unless there is a watermark or an indication that says AI generated, or in indelible go into the metadata, and there has to be an indelible part of the metadata. I mean, something you can't change or remove, right? You had Congress involved, because guess what's going to happen? Somebody's going to go to prison, and they did nothing. Somebody's going to go to prison for like a serious crime and be on death row, and they did nothing. And it's going to look like it came from a security camera. We're coming on the edge of this. I'm not worried about, the current topic. It's terrible if any AI-generated images are moving the mindset of the American people or a voter incorrectly. That is horrible. And what I'm thinking about, forget about the elections. They're trying to go after Trump. What about an innocent kid, 18 years old, and a friend who's technically savvy? And you've heard about revenge porn that kids do, right?
What's that?
Well, more than
That
just
kids
kids.
do?
More than just kids. What I'm saying is
like sending photos of.
I shouldn't have said kids. Let me back up. Revenge porn, that there's been 2 cases that were with fraternities, and it was a very, very big deal. Well, guess what? Now you've got the situation where anybody could take revenge on anybody and create, at least for a short time, a slaughtering of your personal reputation. What if somebody gets upset, and I'll give you an example I know about. Some kid gets upset at a teacher, and his older brother and sister create AI-generated images that teacher said some inappropriate things back when he or she went to college 10 years ago. And now for a whole week, there's questions. And then the school has to say, we can't have you at school for a couple days. We got to figure out what's going on here. I'm innocent. We believe you, but you can't come to school because people are upset, like maybe you said this. It's coming. It's coming. And we need Congress to do the same thing they did on cigarettes, to say, listen, this product can be really dangerous. Any AI generations that come out of AI engines must watermark and have indelible metadata.
Yeah. Well, we're no longer in the information age. We are now currently in the verification or validation age.
Or disinformation age.
Yeah. Information becomes dime a dozen at this point. The World Economic Forum put out the greatest risk that we're facing as a society. Number 1 is misinformation and disinformation. That's just as of this past year. So over the next 2 years, that's what they say. Over 10 years, they're talking about extreme weather events. So we're currently in the mix, and technology is something that you don't mess.
Why did they do this? Look at this. Look at this. I remember looking at this here.
Yeah.
For today, it's misinformation, but in 10 years, climate change,
exactly.
extreme weather events, biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse, critical change to Earth's systems, natural resource shortages.
All the things that they're going to arrange, right?
Exactly.
And then you're going to give them power to fix it to the UN.
What I'm saying is, I'm not downplaying what are the challenges that
Mother
we're
Nature
facing
makes
as
a comeback.
as humanity.
Headline 2028.
But this is something that is man-made. These other things are not man-made. I know that the sort of story around them can be manufactured, man-made, but this is actual things that we can control and we deal with. My only other caveat is this: we assume that this post, this account, we don't know who they are.
I know.
What about who are
I know
they?
Well, I don't know, but Rob just clicked on it. You know what flag that is?
What?
India.
Okay, so what?
He's
what
probably
other,
some Indian guy. That's
maybe, and they're quote unquote an ally. We'll see.
Yeah.
But nefarious bad actors. You don't think China? You don't think Russia? You don't think Iran? You don't think North Korea are putting out these videos to sow chaos in America? Of course they are. You know how they say that facts don't care about your feelings? Feelings don't care about your facts. A lot of people see that, they get gaslit, and who knows what happens. And we see ICE agents getting shot at. This is sort of downstream of that.
It is true, though. It is true that all this stuff is a risk in the future. And this is why whatever video you see, generally go to the comments section and somebody will ask Grok or someone to see if it's credible or not. Do not jump to conclusion with the videos until you go verify in the comment section. People will say, these are actors. There was one video that was going viral with the same set of actors, if you remember that, where the teacher comes out, takes the things off the video. It's like these are all actors. They kept doing the same act. Yes. So just check the comment section to protect yourself. Gang, Do your thing. We will be back again on Wednesday. God bless. Bye-bye.